Hey, welcome in everybody to the AEL University Elite Series. It is a pleasure to be back for first season here of the Elite Series. My name's Matsy, and I'm coming to you live with one you might have seen before, or maybe not. It's TwoTapTony!
Yeah, lurking behind the scenes. Thought I'd come out from behind the curtain, Matt. Good to be here. It's for some Elite Series now.
Oh, it's certainly a pleasure to have you on board, Tony. Thank you for unveiling yourself from the invisibility cloak there. It's always good to have you. Speaking of good things to have, though, let's get right into our sponsors. So, first and foremost, I want to say a big shout out to AGON by AOC, the #1 gaming monitor brand in the world. AGON by AOC provide best-in-class monitor solutions for gaming and all other needs. Next up, don't forget them. I'm hungry. We should eat them. It's Indomie, the noodle partner, made with high-quality flour and selected ingredients and spices. A plate of Indomie mee goreng will certainly brighten up your day. Try any one of the flavors available today from your local grocer or at indomie.com.au. Big shout out to our sponsors there. Definitely keen to check them out more into the future. I've got an AOC monitor myself, got some Indomie ready for processing after this broadcast. Hope you do too, Tony. It's good stuff. But speaking of good stuff, Marvel Rivals, Tony. We haven't seen this in uni before. We've seen it in high school, that's for sure. But it's time for the Elite Series. How are you feeling heading into this one?
It's gonna be an interesting one. Of course, we just wrapped up high school recently, and there was a lot of crazy players there, a lot of crazy good players as well. So I imagine we're leveling up. It would seem going from high school to uni. Hopefully these guys are focused on the study, but I feel like the caliber of player definitely here in the Elite Series might catch us by surprise, but also definitely a step above the high school.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely some highlight players and keen to see how they all play out. But speaking of playing out, let's take a look at how things are going to be playing out into this evening. Here we see matches for the day. Monash taking on UOM there, 7 p.m. to kick off in just a sec, following QUT and UTS at 8 p.m. and RMIT taking on Swinburne at 9 p.m. And then to close it all out for day one, it's going to be UNSW taking on Macquarie. We've seen these university clubs before, Tony, and I'm keen to see who's representing them.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Of course, a lot of familiar names in terms of the universities. Of course, Monash, RMIT, UNSW as well have they've had some story players in different games in the Elite Series. So cool to see them getting involved in Marvel Rivals, and it's curious to see how hard these players have been kind of maybe practicing behind the scenes, because of course this has only just come up. So all these guys coming together and see how well they can gel as a unit, because these are some important games. Match day one really sets the pace for how your season's gonna go, right?
It certainly does. Definitely sets the pace, sets the scene for how everything is going to break down heading into the season ahead. And, I'm definitely keen to see how things end up by the end of this one. Because, I think thinking back on the recently closed out high school league, it started a bit all over the place, a bit chaotic. You didn't know which team was really going to come out on top. And then as the season kind of played out, you really were able to see just who the leaders were throughout that process. So definitely keen to see who's going to be able to establish themselves here for Marvel Rivals as well. And I'm very eager to see whether, there's some familiar faces coming into these uni leagues. Obviously you've seen some of the teams before in other Marvel Rivals competitions before. But speaking of Marvel Rivals, we got our next map coming up, Tony.
Yeah, this is a predetermined first map, so we'll be Domination first here on Yggdrasil, and it should be interesting. Domination's kind of one of those game modes that can go very back and forth. We've seen some very close scores over in the high school, but as well some very dominant domination. So curious to see how Domination will start off. Of course, first to two series for all of these games this evening. So Domination to start, always a kind of good level to gauge where these teams are at.
Yeah, good to gauge where they're at and good to see who's going to be coming out on top. I'm curious, I suppose, diving a bit deeper as to what kind of characters we're going to see coming out of this, because I feel like each team kind of has their own individual identities. But speaking of identities, let's take a look at some of the identities now. We are getting into the pick ban phase, Tony. Here we go.
Yeah, pick ban is where it really starts to come to fruition here. Some of these players, of course, I imagine, they've been doing some practice behind the scenes, getting a lot of hours in ranked. So, the meta has been very up in the air as of late. Of course, we had some previous competitions just wrap up, and it's really hard to kind of gather what's the strongest at the moment. We've seen a lot of triple heal comps, a lot of triple strategists come out from different players, different teams, of course, in the Oceanic region and even internationally. So triple healer definitely my look for towards this first game. Of course, Magneto being taken out, Bucky as well. Bucky been a pretty prominent threat, so good to see that one taken off the board. Hela as well locked in here for the attacking side, so maybe they fancy themselves some Hela for this first one.
Well, we've seen like the prominence of Hela before, haven't we? And we've seen exactly what she can be capable of, especially if left unchecked. If you're able to stay consistent on that hit scanny character, just land all those headshots and make sure to get the stuns out to really support yourself there in executions, you can really deal a devastating amount of damage. And I guess it really plays into the fact of if your team's able to divert the attention away from yourself as the Hela really well, then yeah, you can really just lock in and find your full potential there. Definitely eager to see if that one is going to be able to come out of the fold, though, whether we do see, a pick like a Wolverine come out. I know some teams do like to play pretty well into that one, but obviously, if you know how to play your cards right, you can counter out pretty much any character, can't you, Tony?
Yeah, you can counteract, and speaking of strong Hellas, my call out to Frutal from high school. We got to see him there in the grand finals, really show the strength of that character. So Hella definitely one to look for. Haven't seen all too much in terms of some of the more aerial born characters like Storm, like Torch, Star-Lord as well. Star-Lord, a little bit of an underutilized character over in the high school series, so maybe we might see a little bit of that for the Elite series. Tanks, though, especially, we've seen a lot of Doctor Strange over there, so expecting to see a little bit of that heavily played towards today in these Elite Series matches.
Yeah, I think Doctor Strange has been just such a critical pick for a lot of teams there. Like being able to build up your ultimate percentage so hastily, you just grab that whip out, you just start whipping things together, and then it just builds up, Tony. It's crazy, like how quickly you can get the Eye of Agamotto online. And considering how crucial that ultimate can be to really turn the tides of a match around, in those critical moments, whether it's to make or break a point, whether it's to push that payload just a little bit further along. It just is so essential. And it's great that they have a strategy there in order to, I guess, build themselves up towards that in such a quick and effective way. And I don't know if it's going to be like that for so long, considering just how quickly they can build up that percentage. They might eventually end up nerf it out, but who knows? But let's take a look at our head-to-head now. We've got our roster, or rosters more rather, right before us.
Yeah, and for the side of Monash, it is WotOCE, Pikachu Dude, Six, Joji, Denzel, and Jaden. And for the side of UOM, it's Swaggy, Isaac, Razor Arcanum, Epsilon Male, No Yumi, and Cyclone. Some interesting names, Matt. Some not too familiar faces, but of course I imagine we'll get to know them over the course of the Elite Series.
Yeah, I reckon we'll certainly get to know them. And, I love the creativity in all the different aliases there. It makes me think about what's the thought process going into some of the characters there. Pikachu in particular, maybe thinking of one of those hybrid Pokemon or something. Who knows?
Mm.
But yeah, definitely love to see these new faces coming into the fold there, and keen to see what they're capable of heading into our first map once that one's good to go. We did see, a few characters hovered over. I think you were lightly touching on the Human Torch. I think I saw that hovered in the character selection for a second there, briefly. So we might actually get to see that in our first map.
Yeah, it'll be curious to know what the picks will be for both of these sides. Just recognizing the player on Monash here. That's actually, I believe it is Six that played in the MRC just recently, or the MRI, sorry. So a little bit of competitive experience potentially here for Monash going into this evening. If that's the same Six that I'm thinking of. This is going to be a scary prospect for UOM, but our first map, of course, will be the Royal Palace. As we said, domination first to start it off, Matt. And, you know, you want to be dominant. You want to start it off hot, get that confidence flowing for your team as we head into the picks and bans once again to see whether we see a similar story from what we saw just before or whether they change it up a little bit.
Here we go. Jumping into it now. Looks like we've got ban coming out for the Winter Soldier. Magneto going to go bye-bye as well. So, seems they don't want to deal with the impact of that character. The Thing now being pondered on as well. You can see big trend for Monash just straight towards the tanks or tanky characters. That's really going to limit the options, isn't it, Tony?
Yeah, it's going to limit what they can really bring to the table here. The Thing being locked in is an interesting pick. You know, the Thing only has come into the game recently, I was going to say, after, you know, a few patches here or there. They've touched a few things up. The Thing and the Torch were the latest characters added, and people are still kind of working them out a little bit. You know, Torch feels a little bit weak still, so maybe they need to touch that one up. But the Thing, a very good character, a very immobile kind of force that comes to the table here on the tank line. So a good lock, I'd have to say. The Hella being locked in as well. Psylocke being taken out of the pool. Interesting. Maybe a little bit of inside info there for that ban, and Strange being taken away. A lot of focus on the Vanguards here.
Yeah, like I said, it's just full tanks across the Monash side there. You know, they've got their couple of bans, the pick, and they've dived straight into that. So, going to be able to pick out the Thing there. They've got Groot to combo with that one. Looking to lock in as well. DPS-wise, Black Panther let through. We've seen that one banned pretty commonly in high school, so that one being let by the wayside goes to show the difference in mindset, I suppose, jumping into this.
Yeah, but you've got the, I guess, the dive counter on the other side, right? We've got Isaac on the Loki, so very good at kind of peeling for that backline, those pools as well, to keep everybody healthy in a dire situation as well. We've got, of course, Swaggy going to be on the Luna, so some good, solid kind of heal basis here from the attacking side as well. We've got, of course, on the other side of things, Invisible Woman and Mantis, also some very strong. I'd say Mantis a more overtime healer, whereas Invisible Woman's more, you know, direct and in the fray. You can kind of also put out a lot of damage as well. Invisible Woman does quite a bit if you can stack up a lot of players in a row, right?
That's for sure. If you're able to get the stacks out, you can really stack the deck and get the job done there. But we are going to be getting the job done in just a second, heading straight towards the point now. The Thing leading the charge here. Trying to wait for their team now, see if they can spot anybody coming through. Just chipping away at one another for the moment, breaking down that debris, limiting the lines of sight here, and they're already looking to punch straight into it. Good kill coming out from Six there. Thor goes down. That's going to limit their tank capabilities, and the Thing's gone as well. So it's just ripped apart their front line here, Tony, and now they can look to focus things up the back.
Yeah, looking to focus things up the back. Eyes on the Black Panther, of course. Georgie on that one. Looking just a little bit of something, but of course just kind of scouting out for the moment, assessing the situation. Good, strong start there as well. Six finding that first pick for side here of Monash. And so they're able to hold for just a little bit, and of course they can play up in the front because nobody really had to expend too many resources. Nice one as well from Pikachu Dude to take out Isaac. Denzel finding one on Epsilon Male.
Yeah, Epsilon Male going down. Pikachu looking to lock in on the Lunar Snow as well. Kill after kill just coming through here for the Monash side. They're doing a great job of singling out their targets, staggering these respawns here, and the group walls now playing into that further, isolating them from their teammates, allowing them to lock in on that damage. But now they're all fully respawned. They're going to try and play line of sight here. They do have ultimates to worry about though, but speaking of, Dodgy does find the Loki there, so Looking good so far, more to follow. Kills just coming in from those DPS players, and their teammates are just there to complement them. More and more kills just raining in, and UOM struggling to find a way to answer this.
Oh, great sequence of events there from Joji. Will be taken out though. Here's Arcadum able to tread that one back, but still, percentage starting to grow here for Monash, and they've got all the room to work with. You can just see Six Dink and players in the background get those headshots, getting that health bar shred onto the side of UOM. Nails, they look to walk up with the Lunar Snow ultimate. Fate of Both Worlds is coming through here. Well, how do they answer? They will pop the Mantis ult in return. We do see Six with that Hellstorm available. Could take to the skies and will go for it. Lunar Snow ultimate still active for the moment, but Pikachu dude able to take out Isaac.
Great way to get it done there, and the ult is going to come through as well. No you me. Good kill coming out. Does manage to res the Loki as well through the team up there, so good to take advantage of your roster there. Speaking of, Six are playing so deviously into the line of sight there, creeping in the bushes, finding 2 kills. They're eventually dealt with though, but their team's in a great position right now. Even if they did lose that team fight, they're on 99%. All they have to do is try and run it back here, gain that control back, and the first point's going to be theirs. UOM, the pressure's on for them to hold on to this point for dear life, because they struggled, and finally something started to take shape.
Yeah, it struggled for a bit, but of course the Goddess of Death coming in from No You, No Me was very good here in answering back the fight here. We can see Six trying to build up that Goddess himself. We see the Loki pools currently keeping everybody healthy and up for the moment. Six able to snipe one out from air. Joji as well in the back line, just taking out these healers, making it so hard to sustain, and Pikachu dude as well will be able to secure it. Monash, the first point here in Royal Palace.
That's right, the Bifrost Garden has been captured, and we move on to Odin's Archive there. Curious to see who's going to be left behind in the archives in this one, Tony. A strugglesome start for UOM there. They started to pick up a little bit of steam, but Monash have just been red hot to the trot on this one. Composition making no changes there as well. UOM, curious to see how they approach the rest of this right now. It certainly does carry its fair share of difficulties here. They need to try and find a way to maneuver their way through this one. We'll see if they are going to be able to find a bit more of an advantageous way forward heading into this next sector here, as we hold back for a second, running it back. We're in the chair, we're ready to go. With 2 seconds, it's time to storm out the gates. Here we go.
And back to it here for our second points on Royal Palace, and of course it's going to be up to how UOM can answer, right? Because it wasn't a lot of crazy high-octane kills that were coming back and forth from either side. It was just a lot of individual picks that were slowly building up that percentage here for Monash. Looking to take the high ground here, very much like this out of them. Josh as well, already in the back line, being a menace, stunned up by the Lunar Snow, but still able to get the dash off. Joji isn't able to get the safety though. Big trade back from No You, No Me. And reses up Isaac, though. In the meantime, the point has been captured and well secured here by Monash.
Yeah, great early start point for them, but in the meantime, a Cyclone has re-entered the server, and they're coming in as Wolverine. Doesn't even matter though. Great ult coming out from Groot there, holding them all down in place and allowing the DPS to just wreak havoc there. Six doing a great job, but doesn't go without any contest there. UOM are picking up the pieces here as well. Really making usage of that team up again to just keep the Loki up, keep Hela up as well. Just do whatever they can, but they need to get onto the point now. Try and lock in on some executions to steal some percentage their own way.
Epsilon Male just kind of standing on the point. The Lunar Snow also actually cloned by the Loki, so he's going to be popping that one. They will have another one available if this one doesn't find them at this point. Mantis ult in return here. We do have the Goddess of Death available as well from Six up on the height. Me has popped that one onto the low ground. A very low flying Hella right now, but still able to dish out a ton of damage. Group wall is great for Pikachu Dude to stop any damage from coming through. Six now, and the Goddess of Death of his own, looking for one up on the height there on the Cyclone. Will be able to take it out. Path blocks the rest of the shots from coming through here from Six, but the remaining members of Monash starting to clean up this point.
Absolutely getting the mop out, cleaning things up right now, and they've taken the percentage back in their favor just as soon as UOM started to get closer towards Monash. Monash steal the reins straight back and take control in this tug of war. Now, see who's going to be able to win this battle of attrition now. The two tanks are ready at the choke point, throwing the seeds out there, trying to deal a little bit of damage over time here. See ya. They can hold them back just a little bit longer, but now it's the battle of the things ready to get into this strange things. The wall comes out. Thor almost goes down immediately there. You can tell they are locked in to try and get the execution here. And Wolverine is the one to send them packing.
Yeah, I like this adaptation here from UOM. They needed something to shred through these Vanguards in the backline, but you can see Joji still being a menace here against the Loki. Currently, Izak quite low, and there it is, the dash reset from Joji. We'll be able to take out Izak, and it's still Monash holding so strong. You see so many players on low HP bars here. Cyclone taken out, dash in from Joji for a second, looking for a third on the Lunar Snow. The Groot Ultimate 2 coming through. Joji going absolutely haymaker on this Black Panther. Is able to back out to safety, healed up by the Mantis. Now we tick into OT. Invisible Woman takes out one on the point, and this is more than assuredly going to be Monash locking it up in clean fashion.
Incredible start onto map one there, Tony. Monash sending it through with such confidence, and can't wait to see what else is going to be in store for map 2 as well. And speaking of, remember everyone, important note, it's going to be the first of 2 maps within all of our series tonight. Jaded, going to be the MVP in this one, definitely showing their capabilities in the supporting role.
Yeah, definitely well deserved. You can check out the totals as well, looking at the damage dealt here, 6 for 16k. More than surely double almost everybody here in the server. I was going to say MVP to Jaded, especially on those heals, 17k for them. And oh, Joji 6, that's a disgusting duo of DPS from the Hella and the Black Panther as well. Your front line as well, Pikachu Dude and Wosh just holding so firm, right? It was hard to break anything. Even when the Wolverine counterpick came out, it didn't seem to do all too much because, you know, the side of Monash were able to play around it. They kind of played to their strengths. They grouped up. They focused down the Wolverine. And overall, just a very strong domination being shown from them.
Yeah, really impressed with how they managed to keep themselves composed pretty much the whole way through there, Tony. They really showed their capabilities, showed how they were able to keep themselves confident pretty much the whole way through, and definitely keen to see what else they're going to be able to do as well. I guess heading into this next one, Tony, I feel like there is going to be more of those adaptations. You know, we started to see, I suppose, a glimmer of hope for UOM. Once they made the change onto the Wolverine, they managed to find at least a way to deal with part of the problem, right? Because the front line was just an iron wall. But then they've got the DPS that they need to deal with as well. And the DPS were all too capable. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves, right? 6 was only taken out once throughout that matchup there. Joji did get taken out a few more times, granted. But if they're able to deal with all the problems before them, they can definitely find a way to get an opening there.
Yeah, definitely want to see some adaptation here from UOM, maybe a potential Hella ban there. You know, No You Me looked very good on that one. It's you know, getting familiar with the names, Matt. But yeah, No You Me looked very good on the Hella, but of course, maybe definitely need to see some adaptations in the bans. Maybe target ban Hella, because I at least if this is the same 6 I'm thinking about, I've definitely seen a ton of his Hella before. We saw it show up very well. He was so clear in that backline, right? Nobody was really putting any pressure on him, so maybe we look towards the dive characters here as well for UOM. Maybe put some pressure on 6, force them into a rough position, and that's when the damage really kind of falls off. If he's kind of more focused on position, can't really put out that damage. We're going to have to see some strong adaptations here for UOM, because that looked very dominant from Monash.
Absolutely. They just really showed their true colors, and I'm thinking it certainly could be the 6 that you're thinking of, Tony, and maybe it could be 7. Nah, it's definitely 6. Definitely keen to see more of what they're capable of heading into this next one. I think, like you said, the Halaban looking all but most definite heading into the next map. Speaking of, I think we got our next map on its way.
And that is Yggdrasil Path. So we'll be seeing Convoy for our second map here. And well, it's about now pushing the cart, Matt, how well you can push the cart, how well you can hold it. We saw some very dominant holds over in the high school series, of course, towards that first point. The attackers kind of struggled to get out of the gate, but Yggdrasil Path's an interesting one. A lot of height, a lot of momentum that can be gathered from this map. A map that definitely favors a pick like Hella, so definitely would look to see some Hella potentially coming through. Maybe even a Namor here from one of these sides. If, of course, the Joji Black Panther comes through again, we could potentially see the counter pick from UOM on the Namor to kind of answer for those dives. So it's going to be a little bit of a precarious state here for UOM. It's a lot of adaptations of the picks and bans. But as well, it's about how well, I guess, Monash can kind of keep that ball rolling after finding that first game.
That's right. They really have to, I suppose, put the effort in to hold on to the reins there. Like, they definitely hit the ground running into that first map and displayed the utmost confidence all the way through. So they really have to lock in and make sure they stay consistent in order to hold on to that, because otherwise we could see that reversal. You know, the series could end up being one map apiece, and then we go all the way to map 3. And then that's the big kicker there. But we'll see what they can really bring to the table, I suppose, heading into this second map here. I feel like UOM got to be a bit shaken up after that first matchup. You know, I definitely, like I said, saw a bit of confidence in them towards the ends there. I feel like, you know, they were just getting a bit warmed up into it, first game jitters, you know, but I think heading into this next map, we certainly could see a new identity from them as well. I think the adaptations are really going to be key here, you know, for both teams in order to try and take the lead, let alone to hold on to that lead there. And it's really important that both teams just do the best that they can to stay calm and focused, to ground themselves all the way through the series here. And I think pretty much all through the season, that's going to be the real big test for all the teams, right? To really maintain and focus on, I suppose, cultivating your composure leading all the way towards the grand final.
And an interesting thing to note as well, I liked what we saw as from the strategist lineup there from the side of UOM. I was going to say the Lunar Snow, then into the Loki as well, kind of a very favored strategist comp that they've seen competitively and as well, locally in some of the different community tournaments that are happening, right? The ability to just copy an ultimate is so strong from that Loki. So curious to see whether we'll see the Loki pick again from Isaac. Definitely a map that's kind of not too bad for Loki, especially with all the height, a lot of different elevations, a lot of different kind of corners you can kind of put those clones around and really get out a lot of healing output to your team. But as well, curious to see whether we'll see, I guess, the same composition out of Monash. We saw Denzel on the Mantis, normally not a too heavily, I guess, picked character at the moment, especially with how the meta has been going with the triple strategists that have been played. Mantis kind of falls by the wayside a little bit, but it did a lot there, I feel like, in terms of the damage output. You were able to buff as well, Six, Joji, when they did dive into the backlines, or, when Six was just tapping heads from the back. Mantis is one of those characters that can enable your team a lot better.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely that potential there. You know, healing over time, you can really, I guess, balance things out across your team. Getting that sleep through as well is just so nice when you're playing that Mantis. You know, I definitely feel like that's going to be a fun one. Combining that even with, the Hella there, get those little snares out. I think it definitely will be a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, though, let's get into the fun house. It's map 2. Coming alive right now. Pick a band phase, Tony. Magneto goes goodbye again. Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah, and there's the adaptation I wanted to see. UOM taking away the hell. Very, very smart. I imagine Six, though, a guy who's played at the top level competitively would have a little bit of an expanded character pool, right? You know, he's known for the Hella, but he can, I imagine, play other things as well. We're going to see the Venom lock here. Very interesting one coming out of UOM there. For Monash, what do they decide? It is going to be the Bucky lock. So no ban to Bucky this time. So maybe we see these DPS fellas fly on that Bucky. We'll see some again and again. Looking for some resets potentially going into this one now, Matt.
Not again.
Not again. Ooh, okay.
Luna is gone. That definitely changes the healing landscape. And doubling into that, Adam Warlock's out of here. So, okay. We're not going to see either of those, but we are going to see the picks start to come through. And I'm already seeing a few interesting picks coming out, Tony. Squirrel Girl being hovered there. Star-Lord, you spoke on early in the broadcast. There we go. Star-Lord is in the mix now. Strange is open for business as well here, so keen to see that. But very eager to see how Six plays things out on the Widow here.
Yeah, 6 on the Widow is, I guess, not what I was expecting. So 6 showing the diversity already in the pool. And for the likes of Monash side, sorry, UOM, we will be seeing the Strange being no longer banned. So curious to know, you know, we were talking a lot about how the Strange can really get some good usage out of the ultimate, but as well the Maelstrom after the ultimate is probably the key thing to note, right? You can double stack the Maelstrom damage on top of somebody who has been hit by the Eye of Agamotto. So very strong burst potential coming out of this Doctor Strange pick here from Razor Arcanum. And as well, Star-Lord for No You Me. Expecting some aerial characters from the side of Monash, but, you know, they're kind of sticking to the ground. We can already see 6 trying to put out this pressure.
Yeah, looking to bring out the pressure there. See if they can manage to find a lot thereof. Locking into the damage. Slowly but surely just chipping away at things here. And it's really going to be critical to play into the line of sight in this one. Speaking of Joji, great opener, Groot's down, part of the iron wall falls apart, more to follow. Strangers out of here, Pikachu as well. Everybody just exchanging blows. What a hook that came out there. Squirrel Girl goes out of town. Joji is on a fire on the soldier right now.
And that's the power, right, of the Bucky, the pick potential, just pulling one player that's maybe not expecting to get hooked from so deep in the back line. Joji, strong hit, strong pick there onto that Squirrel Girl. Epsilon Mail taken out, and now you can see the side of UOM trying to rally a defense here for this first point. The ultimate comes out from Joji, trying to look for the reset there, pops it onto the Loki clone. We've got the Invisible Woman ultimate up as well, keeping everybody healthy, keeping everybody topped up for the moment. We haven't seen this Bucky ultimate quite hit its mark just yet. Strange up in air has been tagged up, but no finisher there from Joji. It is Monash set packing for the moment as we see Star-Lord ultimate sending them. The Galactic Legend is No You Me, just sending them back to spawn.
Yeah, good adaptation towards the ends there. Things got a little bit dicey for a second, but UOM do manage to push things back in their favor. You know, hold things down a while longer, not allow them any further presence towards that checkpoint. We'll see how they go, though, with 6 switching onto the Storm now. Curious to see the capabilities of this one. Speaking of, great hook from Joji there. Goodbye. And the Eye of Agamotto comes out. More goodbyes to come. We'll see if they are going to be able to lock in and deliver some justice here. Push that point all the way to the end. The kills come out one after the other. The delay was only for so long, but the point will eventually be theirs. And there we have it. Time extended, just over 4 minutes to go now. They are looking to have a lot of wind in their sails as they push towards the second checkpoint.
Yeah, and they're playing up front and aggressive against the side of UOM, right? You only really need 1 or 2 people on the cart to kind of push it so the rest of them can really flex their muscles. But I have to say, Pikachu do with that beautiful Eye of Agamotto just dropping into the backline. That's the power of the Strange up in air. Six now looking to light up this Storm ultimate, trying to pull everybody in. The Invisible Woman ultimate, though, from Swaggy, keeping everybody healthy. That's the sustain the strategist bring to the table here in a team fight like this. Six still up in air, trying to snipe out the Star-Lord, trying to snipe out the Strange, trying to get this damage across here. Nobody falling victim yet. We see Izak, though, will be popping the Invisible Woman ultimate as well, just sustaining so much HP back here for UOM.
That's it, sustaining so much HP, and to see what else they are going to be able to do. And now, kills coming out left, right, and center here. They are looking to do so much more. Star-Lord ultimate is online, as should they need to lock in on it, but it's like they aren't going to be requiring too much as yet. Still holding back a while longer. Thing ready to push in with their team now as well. Wash does spot the Star-Lord around the corner. Six is taken down, traded immediately by Joji, though. They are just on point on this one, and they can look to go again at any time. The HP on the tanks getting lower by the second. It'll be a grand opportunity to just push in, push this past that halfway point to the second point.
Yeah, looking to get around that choke. It's kind of hard, right? You know, you can very much hold this very well as a defending side. We need to see the breakaway as we see Armed Dangerous coming out from Joji. Already a shot on to Cyclone, who's on the Groot, and it is going to be as well Eye of Agamotto towards that backline with popped ultimates across the Mark II. Six trying to get into the backline himself, take out the healers from the side of UOM and keep that sustained down. It is going to be WhatOCE, and it is going to be Monash able to find that fight there.
Yeah, great way to kick off and take control there. Definitely keen to see what else they can look to bring here. They hold back now, hold down the little window. They found Loki, so that's one piece of the puzzle dealt with. Perhaps more could be following the portal straight onto the point, it would seem. And to play with them a little bit there. I don't know what's going on, but it is stalling them from pushing the point a bit further. So I suppose it works out for a second at least there. But I mean, all the kills coming through ultimately doesn't even matter in the end. They are going to jump in and get even further damage through. The kills just coming out one after the other. The stagger is tremendous. We'll see if UOM can adapt here.
It's definitely possible. As you said, Galactic Legend is up here for No You Me. So, be a very important ultimate here. And as well, very well spaced one though. Here comes the Eye of Agamotto. Pikachu do once again towards the back. Here comes the Galactic Legend out of the Star-Lord. No You No Me. Peppers down Joji and Six. Now onto the backline. We'll be looking to find another, but is stunned up, taken out. Beautiful sleep there from Denzel. They're able to stop that Star-Lord ultimate from doing anything here. Just took out the DPS. It doesn't matter though, the tanks and the healers hold strong.
Hold strong and lock it in. We'll see if they are going to be able to get something through here. Push a little bit further now. Good hits coming out from the thing there, but the healing just too great here. They've got the ultimate prepared. A Storm ready to rampage. Here's the damage. Say goodnight. They go one after the other. A good triple piece there, but they're still got pieces to unravel. And there goes the healing. It's all falling apart, Tony. And there's only a little bit left to go.
A little bit left to go. Epsilon Male does have the Squirrel Girl ultimate up, but it is currently Monash bullying them back into the spawn. The Squirrel Girl ultimate is popped. It will pick off Denzel, but in the meantime, the rest of them are running rampage right now for Monash. It is Six up in the skies, being an absolute cyclone here on the Storm. And it is all she wrote. They're looking to stop the points for the moment. They're looking to stall it out. You can see Razor Arcanum just trying to get on, try to tap, try to send members here. But Joji, Six still cleaning it up, and it will be capped. 40 seconds left on the clock, but the full 3 here from Monash.
Yeah, great stuff coming out from them there. They managed to push it confidently all the way through to the end, and they are going to be absolutely over the moon with that result. There's a lot of hard work that needs to be put in for the side of UOM now. if they want to try and match them here. Curious to see how things change up. It looks like already UOM opting out of the Squirrel Girl after trying to bring out the unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami. I guess it was pretty beatable after all. So they're going to be changing that up there, looking to bring out the Black Panther perhaps. Oh no, opting in for the Storm as well. Cloak and Dagger also entering the fold there. So Venom looking to be utilized as well. Just really an ever-changing lineup of characters for them, isn't it, Tony? They're trying to see if they can find something that works, because at the moment, nothing's completely sticking.
Yeah, it was interesting. You know, we got to see the Venom walk here for this map, but unfortunately UIM didn't get to start that attack side. So you know, the Venom's not bad on defense, but you kind of favor it towards the Strange, towards the Groot. Even a Penny Parker in there would have been pretty solid for defense. But for the attack, Cyclone looking to run a rampage here. Very interesting kind of dive comp as well with the Thor and the Star-Lord. You can really get a lot of damage towards that back line, get a lot of shots in towards the strategist. So it's going to be up to Monash here to position well. They want to keep the healers up.
See if they are going to be able to maintain positioning. Good shot from 6 there. Storm goes down on Epsilon Male. Wash trying to push around the bends now as well, locking in on the opposing tank. Thor getting punished. Traded out now immediately. Healers taking so much damage as well. They just can't get ahead undefended. Everyone getting ripped apart here. Venom still alive, does get spotted by 6. Has to get the heck out of there as quick as they can. Otherwise, they're going to go down as well. It's just a slaughter at the moment, Tony, isn't it?
Yeah, strong start here. Taking away a minute off of the attacking side here from UOM. And 6 just, you know, being a threat. I would have thought we'd see a little bit more out of this Star-Lord to try and shut down 6. And it will be the Galactic Legend finally out from Know You Me. It is going to be ripping to shreds this backline. But that Invisible Woman ultimate out of Jaded keeps them healthy for the moment. Razor Arcanum able to find Joji. And Jaded will be finally taking out Cyclone. The dive on in there. So potentially pushing halfway towards his first point. But of course, side of Monash not too far behind. They're already grouped up. 6 does have Storm ultimate available too, so it's going to be up once again to how UOM can keep this push going.
That's it, Tony. Going to be up to how they can keep the push going, how they can maintain that momentum here. Wash jumps in on the thing there, looking to see if they can do more with the 6 ultimate as well. Not able to do too much there. Good Cloak and Dagger ultimate to keep their team alive, but now they go again. Let's see if that's going to be able to get them over the line. It sure will. They push out that damage. One piece after the other. They are locked in here. Getting the slow on the Venom as well. Oh, that hook! Incredible. Able to jump away at all. They show them who's boss. And they will be sending them back to the starting line.
Now back to the starting line. No first point capture here. Beautiful hook from Joji. And once again, the power of the Bucky coming in, the Winter Soldier, just that range that you're not expecting, right? You think you're safe. Cyclone definitely thought he was well and truly out of there, but still, Joji being a absolute dominant threat here. 6, once again, backline for him and Epsilon Male in the meantime. Backline for them to trade of the Storm picks here. Epsilon Male goes up onto the height, but the Mantis will snipe it out. That's the one thing I forgot to note, Matt, right? Mantis kind of plays like a hit scan character too, so you can take out those threats. You don't necessarily need your DPS to take out that Storm for you when you've got the Mantis on the play.
Yeah, that's right. Definitely going to be able to play into that one there. Make sure you keep things all cashed up and good to go. Good to deal out a little bit of damage on that as well. But speaking of damage, Venom already taking a bit of punishment here. Curious to see. Well, speaking of curiosity, Storm going to jump into it there. Love to see the Omega Hurricane there doing a lot of work for their team and really allowing them to propel themselves forth towards even more ferocity. Not too much time remaining here as well, Tony, and there's only a few tools that can be utilized on both sides.
Yeah, not a lot left here for the side of UOM, right? We've got the Mantis ultimate. We do see the portal onto the back, and Epsilon gets absolutely shredded. Mantis ult will be popped, and so will Cyclone, but in the meantime, we've got Joji running amok with his armed and dangerous, just absolute threat and absolute force here. Being shut down completely. Overtime will be ticking down. Black Panther once again through the portal, but once again taken and demolished by the wayside. Monash, a dominant hold there.
Really impressed with how they managed to compose themselves all through the series, right? You know, they showed their true colors heading into that first map there, and you can see, again, Jaded taking away that MVP. Their healing capabilities just unparalleled to that matchup, really doing a lot of work for their team, and definitely a well-deserved MVP to come through from them there, especially considering the kill potential that they brought out, playing that supporting role as well. Definitely well played by them, but well played by their team in general and everyone in the matchup. Monash going to be our first series victors, and certainly making a statement heading into the start of the AEL University Elite Series for Marvel Rivals.
What are you going to do, man? You've got international talent 6 on this roster, so Monash, they've got some absolute firepower behind them as well. Joji definitely had some moments of pop off there. The tank line looking so strong, and the healers as well doing their job. Monash just looking like a well-oiled machine to start this night off, Matt. And starting off their season with a win. Unfortunately for UOM, they start with a loss, and maybe looking to shake some tail feathers here as they, well, hopefully we see some adaptation, right? Because, you know, there's a few good things to note. Epsilon Male on the DPS, I have to say, it looked very good. No You Me on the Hela in that first map was a definitely a threat to see. But once the Hela got taken away, it kind of felt like No You Me was kind of struggling a little bit to get that damage out.
Yeah, I feel like having that one taken away, it definitely was a bit of a tough one for them, and I'm curious to see how other teams adapt to similar circumstances heading into the rest of the piece here. Speaking of, we are going to be heading to a short break, so we'll be back before you know it. Welcome back, everybody, to the AEL University Elite Series with Marvel Rivals. And we have just concluded our first series of the year, Tony. And what a series it was.
Yeah, it was a crazy one. A little bit one-sided for my liking, Matt. But of course, I have to give props where props due. You know, they played it well. What can I say?
Absolutely played it well. And keen to hear just how well they played, as we've got a little bit of an interview on its way right now. Welcome in, WhatOCE. How are you feeling after that match, mate?
Feeling good. I'm happy we won. Kind of rolled
Absolutely.
them. I won't be lying. I won't lie.
Yeah, similar to those waves in your background, eh? Just sweeping them away. Now, that's a good one. And I'm sure you guys must be feeling really good about that. I guess, what kind of prep did you guys bring into the season?
We just scrimmed like versus a lot of teams, and we scrimmed versus some like non-uni teams for like better practice for like to verse like better teams. That's kind of it.
The scrim paid off, and I was gonna say I need to pick your brain a little bit. You know, I was called a glazer by the chat before. How's it been playing with Six, especially in scrims, and of course now in officials? Does he kind of bring, I guess, a veteran voice to the team?
Yeah, he's really good. It's good to have like a really good player have like input into all the other roles, and like guide us on like how we should be playing.
Yeah, you guided well. I was gonna say, you know, going into that second map, we saw a little bit of adaptation out of you guys, especially when the picks and bans came through. Of course, a lot of different stuff was got taken out of the pool. You know, Hella being taken out. You know, but your play on the thing, and of course, the Groot always a dominant threat. How does I guess, you know, in a competition like this, how do you feel going into, you know, the picks and bans? How are you guys pretty strategically diverse, or like what's the comps like?
I'd say we're like really flexible. Like we can pretty much play all the meta comps that are going in right now. So it's not really much of a problem if like one of us gets banned out. So yeah, I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah, and it's great that you guys are able to, I suppose, adapt so well. And I think that that's really going to be tested for you guys pretty much through the whole season. And I guess speaking of the rest of the season, if you have potentially seen some of the other uni clubs and/or scrimmed against them prior to the season, is there anyone you might be particularly watching out for?
Um, I'd say UTS. I think has a good team. I think 3 good players on their team. I've played against quite a bit in ranked, and I think it's UCID or something, UNSW Raw or something like that. Whichever team has Frost and Lick, those are 2 really good players. I queue with them in ranked pretty often as well. So I think they're a really good team too.
That's good. Well, hopefully you guys will be able to meet them heading into the future weeks. But I guess that's going to be all for today. And I got to say, congratulations on your first win of the season. Once again, you guys absolutely killed it. And yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys are able to do.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Well, that's going to be that, Tony. What a great way to kick off the season there. Great to get some insight straight from the mind of the players, you know. Always love to get a little bit of the insight into their psyche, how they're feeling, what they've kind of been doing surrounding the game. And it's great that, you know, we can ask some of the questions which some of the people watching at home might be thinking about heading into these weeks here. So definitely keen to hear more from them heading into the future.
Yeah, keen to get some more interviews going, and you know, as WhatOCE was saying, a lot of veteran backing behind that roster, a lot of scrims as well. I was going to say, you know, normally elite series we see a scrim here or there, you know, but a lot of these teams are very much taking it seriously. So it's cool to hear that the scrims are going on and the players are putting in the hours. So you know, curious to see how that pays off going into the future weeks. Of course, you know, a lot of different practice, and as well, WhatOCE said that they're very strategically diverse. So that's kind of what you want of a roster here going into the Elite Series.
Absolutely. Definitely keen to see more of that heading into the future with such a young game. Keen to see how far these teams can go. But speaking of how far things can go, we're going to be going into our next matchup very soon. It's going to be none other than QUT taking on UTS. Now, UTS, I believe, was one of the rosters mentioned in our interview before. So let's take a look at their rosters right now and see what we've got to be waiting for here, Tony. And here we go.
Yeah, QUT, it's QXO, it's Ariadet, Aurelian, No Toast for You, Possum, and Scamazon. And for the side of UTS, it's Kaibe, Dinosaur, Pillow, Milk, Jasoon, Soon, and Flonet? Float? I'm going to butcher that one, so apologies. But yeah, you said Flown? We'll call him Flown. And yeah, you know, we spoke about the interview. You know, a few players to look out for here on the UTS side. Milk, Soon as well. So yeah, these are some scary looking rosters, Matt, and it's going to be interesting how these two teams match up. Because as Wosh said, UTS probably one of the teams to look at here in the Elite Series.
Absolutely, and very eager to see how they hold up heading into the series ahead of us here. We've already seen some great potential, great competition on its way through, and I'm super excited to see what both these rosters are able to bring to the table as we get into the game right now. And let's see what the pick ban phase is going to look like. I'm already liking some of the hovers coming through here, Tony, but after our last series, say goodbye to the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Winter Soldier's gone. We're not looking for the resets. The side of UUT, Psylocke being taken out. Kind of like that ban, right? You know, Psylocke's one of those characters that can kind of snowball if you're able to get into backlines, take out the strategists, and very slippery as well. So, of course, taking away Psylocke, locking in Punisher on the side of QUT. Don't mind that one. Punisher's a very strong pick. Loki being locked in here for the side of UTS. We'll wait to see our final band. Do we potentially see another Hella band, or do we see it potentially going towards the Vanguards?
I think they might opt in for the Vanguards here. I don't know. They're really pondering on it. Like you see, they've left it all the way down to the last second. And in fact, they haven't even banned anything. So I guess they don't want to ban anything else. They want to keep the floor open and force their opponents to ban something out. Looks like Invisible Woman going to be gone. So picks coming out now already, looking for the team up there with the Spider-Man. Need to see what else they can bring to the table as well. Ella locked in on top. Punisher going to be locked in as well. Haven't seen that one this time around, but I'm sure we're going to see some good use out of it. But one that has broken through here is the Magneto. We did see that one pretty consistently banned last series, so keen to see what UTS is going to be able to do with that one, considering it's open here.
Yeah, it's interesting leave up here. And I feel, I guess the vetoes in terms of, I guess what QUT were after, they kind of were able to pick it up. You see Luna Snow and Possum going to be on Jeff the Land Shark. So a lot of healing output coming out. A lot of burst healing from both of these two strategists. And well, for the side of UTS, it's an interesting comp, right? Because we've got a lot of frontline presence with Venom, with the Magneto. But as well, you've got a lot of dive with the Venom and the Spider-Man. So it's going to be up to Dinosaur to kind of play that backline like we saw out of 6 in that last game. Just play that backline, play behind your tanks, play next to your strategist, dish that damage out. As we can see, first points here going to be Royal Library, Matt. So going to be a little bit more of an closed-in affair, whereas, you know, the other points are kind of a little bit more open.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. It definitely closes up a few avenues there. Speaking of avenues, though, Venom has just opened up no potential avenue, diving straight into the back line. But Aurelian are going to be able to find their teammate there. Spider-Man down, QDXO goes as well. So good trade-off on both sides of the scale here. No one taking the point just yet, but certainly could be around the corner. A few more kills spill through here. No one giving up any ground as yet, though. But there we go. Good kill coming out. Punisher down. Jason goes down as well. We'll see if they are going to be able to find a bit more. Dinosaur Pillow found by the opposing Hellas. Amazon doing a great job there. Slowly but surely taking down these players. But the pointer still hasn't gone either way.
Yeah, nobody's capped it yet. Jason trying to fly on in. It's Kyber taking out Scammers on. And Jason can be quite a threat with his Spider-Man, right? You can kind of pull players off the map, or you can kind of just be in a nuisance, kind of draw the fire towards you, right? Jeff Ultimate comes out there from Possum. He's looking to split somebody off the map. It will be the Lunar Snow, and as well, Lunar Snow taking out Jason. So it's still a good fight here for QUT. So we can only see a few players left up here. Kyber trying to hold this one down. Does have the Magneto ultimate, the Magnet M here. The Lunar Snow ultimate coming out of here. Kyber needs to snipe that player out, take away the strategist ultimate coming through. Will be able to hit the snipe onto the Punisher instead. Lunar Snow ultimate still going. Nobody has capped this point yet as this fight still ensues. Venom ult comes across here from Soon. We'll be able to take out Scammers on. It is the Bagamoto coming through. The stun comes up. Lunar Snow ultimate here for Milk is holding strong here for UTS. The point still has not been capped.
Still has not been capped, but we'll see if they are going to be capping this one as it is. Milk News taking out a QDXO there. The pointer finally gets captured. That was quite the drawn-out battle in the beginning there, Tony, and eager to see if they can hold on now. Spider-Man, though, jumps into the ultimate. All the damage coming through, but the heals are just $2 grand. No kill coming out of that one at all, but in saying that, they're still building up percentage, so it's a win in a way. Just play that stall game.
Play that stall game. It is going to be Float. Popping the Loki ult. That's the Lunar Snow. Faded both worlds here from Float. Keeping everybody healthy, keeping them topped up. It's a little bit of a defensive one, but of course not really the highest of impact Loki ultimate I could have come across, but it kind of gets them the space as well that they're looking to push forward here. Just take up so much control here, force back these players, force them to burn the ultimate here. Aurelian going to be popping that one on the side of QUT. Is going to be Goddess of Death out from Scammers into the back line, but nobody is showing any presence here. Goddess of Death back here from Dinosaur, sniping away. Both players looking for picks right now. It's still in the favor of the side of QUT. They're looking to walk into the point, but still Dinosaur being an ever-presence here on the Hella. Just tapping away, trying to find some shots. Spots Lunar up in air. And the point remains here for UTS for the moment.
Point remains in their favor, and we'll see just how long that can last. Aradet goes down on the Punisher. Good stuff from Jason there. Now, soon, the hold back as well. Jumps in on the Venom. Ready to go. Just force them away from that point. They're getting closer and closer to the lucky 100 there. See if they are going to be able to achieve it, though. A last-ditch push could be on the horizon here. Here comes Thor, ulting through, bringing the electrifying gameplay. But in the meantime, they've lost 2 teammates. Maybe more on the way as well. You can see they're falling down one after the other in towards OT. And it's all coming crashing down. UTS, lock it in and find the first point.
Dominant first point there on Odin's Archive, and I have to beg the question, Matt. We saw the Magneto ultimate was up that entire time for Kyber. Just didn't need to use it, though. The faith in the team to get it done as well. Some good picks from Jason and Soon to kind of start that fight off so well as well. Flonet able to keep that Loki ultimate up for this one. Ultimates online as well. We've got the Strange, the Eye of Agamotto. We've got It's Jeff as well for Possum. This is going to be an interesting second point. Not as many, I guess, spots to spit people off here for Possum, so going to have to see that one be very impactful. Eye of Agamotto is always a presence, but we can see the adaptation, right? We wanted to see a little bit of anti-dive here for Scammers and we'll be bringing out the Namor. So, Jason, maybe about to have a rough time here because Namor just a very good counter towards the Spider-Man and the Venom. You know, you can kind of just put those squids, those plants up and just stall for so long as well. Namor has that ability to go invulnerable himself, so hard to deal with that Namor pick now, as you can already see Jason taken extremely low and almost taken out.
Yeah, and they had to take so long just to take down one of those sentries there, so really making a grand impact. Everybody locking in, and they've managed to find that first point. Luna Snow ultimate coming out as well, so going to be lost to the point there, but they are going to be able to build up that percentage, which is great. But the problem now is they don't have any ultimates for now. UTS, they've got plenty in their arsenal. UT right around the corner though, Namor ultimate up, Punisher right around the corner here. Will they be able to use them though? That's going to be the big question. They hold back a second longer. Dealing that damage out so fruitfully. Here comes Hela. Call to arms. The ult is here and they are doing damage right now. Strange really being a nuisance though, getting right in their face.
Yeah, blocking up the Goddess of Death, but Dinosaur Pillow is still able to find the mark there. Venom kind of dishing out the damage because well blocked by QTXO. Goddess of Death, of course, countered by the Strange Shield. It's hard to... It's a rough one, right? You know, you're like, all right, well, bound to happen that there is going to be a Strange if I'm going to be playing Hela in this circumstance. Yeah, great answer back there from the side of UTS. They're able to cap the point back after only 40% was taken from QUT. And we can see just a lot of upfront engagement. Jason playing a very risky Spider-Man. Gets the punch across with the help of Kaibe. Dinosaur Pillow immobilized up for the moment. Stun comes through, but still holding strong with the Luna Snow ultimate, keeping them all up. The fate of both worlds for Milk, and it is just another clean sweep. This time, though, by UTS.
Absolutely, doing a great job, and they are going to be able to hold on strong all the way through here. Eager to see what else they're going to be able to achieve now as they hold it back a second longer now. Just waiting for what's to come here. Speaking of Jason, great kill onto the Loki there, trying to deal some damage from behind from the distance there. The QUT side pushing up with confidence. Try and get on point here, steal that percentage back, but UTS are doing a grand job just holding steady here. Already they've found 2 kills, looking for another one as well around the corner. The numbers starting to dwindle here for QUT, and maybe more could follow down. They really can't afford to be losing players right now, especially not to get staggered out, considering how close to the 100% mark UTS are.
Yeah, UTS starting to tick that one up very, very close to completion, and Kaibe, he's still holding this Meteor, Matt. He's been holding it for this entire time. Hasn't needed it necessarily, because of course now in comes the fight, but it is immediately blown up. Punisher ultimate's taken down Agamotto across from QTXO, and it's blown out, taking out QTXO. The rest of these members from QUT scattered, storming into this point through the portal, but it is not going to matter. Even the Shark dodged out by Dinosaur Pillow, who goes Goddess of Death and sends QUT back in a strong, dominant 2-0 here for UTS in this first map.
Incredible start coming through from them there, Tony. Definitely can see the confidence shining in on that first map, and you can see exactly what they're going to be able to bring heading into the next as well. Just look at that, Kaibe. Great way to start. MVP performance coming through, and we'll see how things keep continuing heading forth into the playing field here as we jump into the next map momentarily, but certainly showing the stats before us. They've made a real large impact, and I'm sure they're going to be back for more. Pressure on, though, for QUT now, Tony, to try and adapt here.
Yeah, pressure is on. I have to give credit there, you know. Of course, we were speaking about the DPS being a fearsome duo, you know, Spider-Man Hela, but the tanks for that one, I can't fault them, right? Soon playing a very good Venom, kind of ducking into the back line, just diving and being a nuisance, you know. It's hard to answer that one, and as well, Kaibe, Magneto, some beautiful ultimates coming out. That's the ultimates you want to see, take out some high priority targets like the Punisher ultimate, like the Lunar Snow ultimate, and snowball your fight from there. But it wasn't all too bad for the side of QT. We saw a good Eye of Agamotto there from QTXO. We saw great adaptation there as well from Scamazon, highlighting, that, the Spider-Man's a little bit of a threat. Maybe we pick the Namor into it. So I have to give credit to QT. Their adaptations are well. It's just how they're putting that one into practice and into the game.
And speaking of into the game, it looks like Aurelian is going to be subbed out. The SVP for QUT is gone. It's going to be Cheezel coming in their stead there, heading into this next map. So keen to see how the team adapts heading into this next one, considering they've changed up their roster. Curious what the playstyle of Cheezel will be, as well as the character sheet, I suppose, for them. But that's all to be found in the next pick ban phase, isn't it, Tony?
Yeah, it's to be found out whether we see some different picks and bans as well. I guess, was there any kind of one character that we want to see out of QUT ban for this next one, Matt?
Tough one, Tony. I think it's definitely going to be probably the Spider-Man, to be honest. Maybe ban that one out, considering did have a fair share of problems with that one. But I mean, speaking of, Magneto is probably going to be one that's banned out, and I think I can understand exactly why it was banned out in the first series every single time. Now, considering the impact that it did have there, we got to see the MVP come out there, definitely really making a statement on that character and showing that they mean business, and those meteors can deal a wealth of damage. So definitely keen to see if that one does get banned out in the next map there. I think it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, but you never know. Maybe they have other things in mind.
Yeah, definitely. We of course just spoke to Walsh about their one, and they were like, yeah, we can play everything that's like meta at the moment. So, if they can play everything meta, you feel like a lot of these other teams are kind of taking that torch up as well. They said they were scrimming a few of these teams like UTS who looked pretty dominant here. So I'd expect we see some good adaptations. We already saw one from Scamazon on the Namor into the Spider-Man, and maybe we see some adaptations as well from the Vanguard line, because we saw a lot of Groot, we saw a lot of the Thing as well. Both very strong characters in their own regard. And I feel like the Thing kind of plays a little bit like Magneto. If Magneto were to be banned, you can kind of just pick up the Thing and be still that like very much frontline tank that can soak up a ton of damage.
Yeah, and I think that's important in order to have a team or have a player even, or players for that matter, that can really fulfill that role for your team. So then your DPS and your supports can really shine as bright as they possibly can, be able to use those frontliners to create those kind of opportunities, so then they can play into it, try and find the success there in order to get those opening executions and just really send the enemies packing, so to speak, open the gates and just go absolutely bananas, Tony. And definitely keen to see how things go down heading into the next one. Whether we see the bananas come out then, who knows? But we'll see what is going to be unfolding there. In terms of character adaptations, though, Tony, do you think we might see anyone else out of the roster making their way through into this next one, considering the impact we had? Maybe we see something like the Torch you talked about earlier. Maybe we see the Storm come through into this one instead. Like, there's definitely openings, I suppose, in the roster, but I guess that's all going to depend on how the pick ban phase goes down, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot to ask for the pick ban here. I definitely liked the Venom here from Soon. A lot of great dives into the backline, and then a lot of backing off when necessary. That's a very important thing with Venom, right? You have to be aware of the HP bar, because some players get very tunnel visioned into that backline, and they kind of just lose all their HP, like, oh, where are my healers? And it's just like you're so far up as Venom, right, that you can't be too aggressive, but like you kind of have to toe a line with Venom. So Soon kind of towed that line very well. Curious to see whether we'll see the Venom again out of him, as of course we go to our next map in just a bit. I believe we are just get everybody in and ready. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of questions asked of QUT, right? Because I feel like at the side, at the moment, UTS kind of they showed their cards. They showed what they've got. They don't really have to change a whole lot, really. You know, maybe one different pick here or there, but realistically, it's the same comp at the end of the day that they're running.
Yeah, and I think that they've shown their confidence, and they can just come into this next one with the same kind of a glimmer of hope. You know, I feel like, yeah, not too many grand changes that need to be made there. I suppose it's really going to depend on how the pick ban phase goes down, and yeah, eager to see what that will look like. But speaking of what that will look like, as you were talking about early, Tony, definitely important that you don't overextend, especially on those divey type DPS characters. You know, because spatial awareness really going to be critical for you. You know, being out of the line of sight of your healers really does create a wealth of problems there. So definitely a good point that you brought up earlier there, Tony. And I'm sure that all of our players take that to heart, as well as maybe anyone watching who might not have really thought so much about how you space yourself from your team. Definitely an important factor. If you want to do the best you can there. And yeah, as you can see, delayed player tech there. So we're going to get that resolved as soon as possible. Thank you so much for bearing with us at the moment, and definitely keen to see what's to come here, Tony. But Tony, something that really stands out to me is QQT's logo. How does that resonate with you?
I'm a big fan. Big fan. You know, I like myself the chimp variety. So you know, QT definitely you've got my vote. And I want to see the apes fire up, man. As the saying goes, apes together strong. So hopefully QUT can go bananas in this next one. Of course, we will be seeing, I believe, Midtown. I'm not quite sure. Of course, we'll get confirmation on that one. But Midtown should be an interesting one. Convoy for our second map here. You know, we saw a very dominant Royal Path just last map. So, you know, it's about kind of holding that first point and using that confidence that you can hold that first point to really snowball the lead from there. Curious to know whether we'll see some more defensive tanks as well, especially a potential Penny in there, because Penny really good at holding some of those chokes, right, that you're able to, you know, set up the nest, set up the mines, and just kind of let them come to you and force them to take out that nest. It's so hard to do if you're a good Penny player, you know, putting it in good spots and, you know, out of the way of anything that could potentially take it out.
Yeah, I suppose it sets up your house of traps, doesn't it? You know, you're able to really set up a big trap field there, and then the enemies have to try and penetrate their way through, and it's just such a difficult endeavor considering how much damage you can actually bring out to them if they do even try and make an attempt to push through there. So Penny definitely could be one of the picks that comes through there. I'm kind of curious, I suppose, diving a bit deeper into some of the picks that we may or may not see. You know, maybe could see something off come out. You know, maybe we could see something like, I don't know, like a Mr. Fantastic come out of nowhere. You know, there's definitely openings there. But speaking of openings, we are shutting a Psylocke out of this one as we get into the pick ban phase here. I'm curious to see what UTS's first ban on the chopping block is going to be.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Psylocke once again remaining the first ban here from QUT. We're going to be seeing a Groot taken away from UTS. Interesting ban there. Maybe a little bit of knowledge because we can see Cheezel hovering that one at the moment. So maybe some Scrimbucks coming in here. Loki lock for side of UTS once again. Don't mind that one, man. Loki played very well last one.
Yeah, definitely a good thing to see there. We'll see if they are going to be able to tap into that Loki potential again, heading into this next one as well. The Thing going to be locked in for the QUT side there. No toast for you, already hovering that character, so curious to see how they play into that one there. But speaking of playing into things, we got to play into one more ban, and on both sides, and curious to see if they actually do it. Venom gone. Bam, and the Venom is gone. So we will not be seeing a Venom in this one. And one more ban to follow through. And it's going to be the Winter Soldier. I don't think we saw Winter Soldier even remotely at all in the last map. So there's going to be no opportunity for that already. The picks have been locked and loaded here. We have Magneto and the Thing as the tanks on the top side of things, and same on the bottom. Very consistent lineups with only subtle changes, I suppose, between the healers and DPS.
Yeah, changing out the DPS a little bit. We got Dinosaur Pillow swapping off of the Hella, giving that one over to Jason. No Spider-Man here for Midtown. Don't mind that. Spider-Man, I guess, kind of doesn't have the same impact it would in, your other maps there on Domination. This is Convoy. We're kind of looking for a little bit more pick potential. And, there's no, like, kind of hard ledges, especially as well, to pull people off with Spider-Man. So, great call from the side of UTS. Definitely respect, the swap up on their side. But, Cheezel coming in on the Magneto for the side of QT. Curious to know how that sub in will go. QTXO is, swapping over to the heals for this time. A few of these players, it would seem they're multi-role professionals.
Absolutely. It's great to see multifaceted players, I suppose, really able to show their adaptability and capabilities there. Speaking of, we jump straight into the payload now. QUT already storming ahead towards the first potential choke point here. They stick it back, the Thing be pressing on to the point now, really just trying to put this to a stop as quickly as they possibly can, but the point still pushing forward slowly but surely. Has reached a standstill, however, but good charge from the Thing there, really just trying to disparage some of those defensive capabilities here, and does allow them to push only a little bit further forward, but certainly will change as time plays out here. Already 4 players on the point, getting it further along, almost to that first checkpoint. To be careful. Speaking of careful, Flowin brings out the ult there for the Lunar Snow, so their team are going to be able to press back confidently now.
Yeah, Flowin building up the Loki ultimate very quickly. The Mischief giving the Lunar Snow. And, wow, it's a great pushback from the side of UTS. They force these players to be a little bit more safer in their approach. Dinosaur Pillow as well does have the more ultimate up. Still, just putting pressure on this side of UT. They can't really walk up all too much. Another one from Jason. And we're starting to build ultimates as well for both sides. We've got 4 up here. And my eyes are on Aradet, right? The Punisher ultimate came out in that last game. We didn't get to see it have the effect we would want. So I'll be looking along the right to the last one here.
Yeah, we'll see how it's all going to play out here. It goes. The ultimate coming out from Punisher goes bye-bye immediately. What a way to get it done for Soon there. Just annihilates both DPS players immediately. That was one way to deal with the ults there. Need to see more because they've found the Mantis as well. Hybe ready to try and press back here too. It's getting closer and closer to the opposing Magneto there. Cheadle gone, QTXO all gone. So certainly an impressive hold coming through.
Yeah, an impressive hold, I have to say, not even needing to use Jason's Goddess of Death there. So overall, well played. Soon just shutting down that Punisher ultimate once again. And Aradet, right, that's a tilter. You don't want to be playing with your Punisher ultimate down. That's kind of one of the game-winning or fight-winning ultimates now out of the cards here. Jason taking out Scammers on, just positioning so well, you're right. It's very a rough position to be in right here on Midtown. You have to play very safe up in the prey, though. Jason stuns up Magneto, pops the Goddess of Death, trying to pop over the top, a few shots over that Magneto shield. But now Magneto themselves need to be careful because they are quite low. A lot of damage coming across there, and it's Dinosaur Pillar to wrap it up onto Cheezel. And slowly but surely, once again, taking space. It's just nothing happening right now. They will be able to find Jason, but once again, Dinosaur Pillar hits the back. 35 seconds only left on the clock now for QUT to make a move.
Yeah, time is of the essence here. If they don't get a move on sooner rather than later, they are going to be in a deeper pocket of trouble here. And we'll see if they can manage to break themselves out of it, push towards that first point quick as they possibly can. Spider-Man now Jumps into this one, good damage around the center there, but they've still got plenty more work to do. We'll see if they are going to be able to do it. Just hold the back for a second longer, ready to strike. Spider-Man's down, Possum good for that one. See if they can find a bit more. Amazon does have the ultimate available as Howler here, so keen to see if they tap into that one. That they will, trying to deal a little bit more damage just to press things forward, disparage their enemies a little bit here. Now they can push a little bit closer to that point there, but OT, it carries its weight in anxiety, and curious to see if they can get their way out of it.
Yeah, they're going to have to fight their way out of it, it would seem. Kaibe, and soon they want something, anything right now. QTXO. And this time the Punisher Ultimate will fly it. It will rip. Jason traded out. Flonet's able to take out Scamazon. And Aradet now put under pressure. Immediate swap up here. Dinosaur Pillow onto the third tank. It is going to be the Strange. Just a portal back to the point. The stall for the OC here. And the fight comes through. And very well played here. From the side of UTS, they lock it up. Only 132 meters here for QUT.
That's it. Definitely doing a great job to keep them locked out as far as they possibly can there. And showing that they have a lot of confidence. Really just minimizing the distance that they need to travel heading into the second sector of the map. And certainly excited to see what they are going to be able to do heading into it now. Let's see how things change. Well, that's a first. We see Rocket making its way through for both teams now. An interesting adaptation, but I like it nonetheless. Speaking of what I like, it's Wolverine coming out. Strange is out too. QUT trying to shift the gears here and see if they can make something happen.
Yeah, see if they can make something happen. And, well, I would have thought, I'd see the Rocket, you know, triple heal potentially coming out from UTS, but unfortunately, just the single strategist. I'm a triple healer guy, Matt, what can I say? It's always good to see the healers be important playmakers in a hero shooter like this. You know, normally it's DPS, normally it's the tanks that get all the glory, but it's good to see a game that allows strategists to really shine in the server.
Absolutely, showing that they have true prowess over the fields here, and keen to see how they yield into some results as we do jump in to the fold once again. Already getting some good damage over the top there. Punisher turret ready to wreak havoc here, but it's only going to be able to do so much as they deal with that promptly. Wolverine pulling back as well, trying to see if they can clean someone up, take them away from their teammates perhaps, but a little bit of a stack up over here, looking pretty solid for UTS right now. They've already found Aradet and more to follow. Strange goes down. They've taken out Wolverine and Magneto. Everything is falling apart right now for QUT, and this has allowed UTS to go leaps and bounds with the point already. They've pressed it over the halfway mark, and they are getting closer and closer to the finish line here. This is dangerous for QUT. I think they only have one more potential fight in them. Otherwise, it could be done and dusted.
Yeah, one more fight in them. And you can see, look at the fight for it. Possum already taking up quite a bit of damage. He sees his low HP members in front of him. Cheezel as well, quite low. QTXO firing away with those daggers, with those knives, trying to stop these players from walking up. Will be held for the moment. Oh, great plant comes out. Flonet is going to be popping the Lunar Snow Mischief once again. We'll be seeing that fate of both worlds. Heal up everybody, keep them healthy, and unfortunate for the side of QUT, they only have the Mantis ult. They don't have the Lunar Snow ult up just yet. Great snipe there on a Jason. A quick trade back from Dinosaur Pillow, just dishing out a ton of damage on this Namor, being unchecked for the moment. We do have a lot of ultimates up here. We see Aradet popping away with that shotgun. Will be popping the Punisher ultimate. Judge, Jury, Executioner, no Meteor coming out. Take him out this time around. He will be able to hold it. Left click. Mouse one down for Aradet. And it's 3 from the Punisher to hold.
And they managed to do so successfully there. Great stuff coming out from them to hold on to it even but a little bit longer. They need to do everything they possibly can here to hold on and maintain that stance for just over a minute and a half longer. See if they can do it. It's UTS. Now look to make a stand of their own. Lots of damage coming towards the back line as they try and zone him out. BkWhatOCE comes out. Love the use of the sign there from the Namor to avoid that one. The damage starts to rain through for QUT here. Still, a little bit of trades coming out, but it's not enough to really get them over the line for UTS there. So they're facing their own fair share of struggles here. We'll see who can manage it within this last minute of competition.
Last minute here to push. And they've got a few ultimates up. FlowNet once again. Loki ults immediately to the Lunar Snow, so we've got double the healing output here. But Dinosaur Pillow is taken out in the interim. It is going to be a spectacular Spider-Man flying through. Jason able to find one on a possum quickly, looking for this pick because they need to find it and need to take these players out. Cheezel able to hold it down for his team right now. FlowNet, quick answer back there from the Lunar Snow. Now towards the Loki. We've got Dinosaur Pillow starting to walk up here with the Namor ultimate as well. This could be a good hold here. The portal from the side of QUT, though, they're able to answer back immediately and hold this one.
They sure are, Tony, and they are answering back with a ferocity here, trying to do whatever they can to keep this thing going, to push it over the line. It's a battle of the gods at this point. A Lunar Snow's ultimate so runs its course, but that Namor ulti deals with both healers there. That is incredible. They've mopped the floor. This is exactly what they needed. They're trying to go for a last-ditch effort, but it's just not enough. What an incredible turn of events there. Namor turns the game up over its head and puts it to bed. UTS, say goodnight.
Yeah, huge Namor ultimate at the end there. Dinosaur Pillow. Well-earned MVP here by FlowNet, though, I have to say. Loki building that ultimate charge so quickly, able to use that Fate of Both Worlds so many times. Didn't even need him to, like, kind of stop anybody from you know, getting blown up. It was kind of heals over time to win out the fight, right? So FlowNet building that one, showing that the strategists are definitely well-deserving of these MVPs. Cheezel as well, the SVP for the side of QUT. But Matt, another 2-0 UTS with a very strong game there.
Absolutely, they really played so well, didn't they? And I was really impressed with just how close it managed to get towards the end there. I really thought that we might actually see, you know, a map 3 on the horizon, but UTS, they prove otherwise whilst utilizing their abilities to really push them over the line there. And they managed to stay primed up to take that position. QUT, though, definitely showed their capability as well. Really was impressed with, like I said, how close it actually got in the end. And I'm sure that this won't be the last that we see from them. But speaking of, we are going to head to a short break. So we'll be back before you know it. Welcome back, everybody, to the AEL University Elite Series. Matsy and TwoTapTony coming to you live once again. What a way to kick off this season. The second match, absolutely delivering, Tony.
Yeah, delivering some swift 2-0s. It would seem to start off the day, the evening. Sorry, and I wasn't expecting that, man. Very strong performance out of both teams. 2-0s are 2-0 at the end of it.
That's right. A 2-0 is a 2-0, and definitely keen to hear all about it as we've got an interview on the way, as a matter of fact, with one of our winning players. So, welcome in, Jason.
What's up?
Hey. Love to see the Psylocke in the background there, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, love to see it. So, I guess jumping straight into it, with that series, were you feeling like any fear at all towards the end there? Because I know I was on the edge of my seat.
Once I saw them Insta target ban my Psylocke, I knew it was over for them. Like, I just have that much aura,
Ah. I love the way you think. And Tony, I want to hear, I guess, about what you think about the aura. Do you have any questions you want to dive into?
I want to break it down a little bit. I was gonna say the target banning Psylocke is interesting. You opted for the Spider-Man first game, and it hit its mark a little bit. They saw adaptation, with the Namor pick as well being picked up by scammers on there. How did you feel once they once you were like, okay, I'm kind of running amok in Spider-Man, they swapped to the Namor? How do you kind of break down what to adapt there in terms of the play?
I guess you can't really flank as much. You just kind of have to like zoom past them and uppercut them, CC them in the air so your team can do all the damage. But usually it's doomed if they have the snow team up, but we're just like that.
Just know how to get it done.
Yep.
Great to see. And I suppose heading deeper into the season, are there any teams that you're anticipating taking on? Like, do you know anything about any of the other rosters at all?
We actually scrimmed the UNSW team the other day. I think we took 3 maps each, so it should be a close match when it comes.
Keen for that. And Tony, what are you keen for?
I'm keen to see the adaptation. Of course, we saw a little bit as well. Soon playing that Magneto and as well the Venom. I kind of liked the composition you guys were running. You had a lot of beefy frontline tanks, and then dinosaurs just kind of shooting players from the back line. You're kind of getting in the mix there on the Spider-Man as well on the Hela. How the teams kind of picks? You guys pretty flexible when it comes to what you guys can play?
Well, I used to be a Psylocke one trick until I hit Eternity, where everyone just target banned me. But now it's kind of just like we pretty much just stick to our roles. We just run 2-2-2 mostly. I think Dinosaur mainly plays main DPS, and I'll play flex DPS. It's like Overwatch terms, if you know what that means.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoy playing like the fast heroes, if that makes sense. Yeah.
That's good. Keen to see more fast plays from you heading into the future. Who knows? Maybe we'll see all different kinds of target bans come out for you. Who knows? But for today, though, I want to say congratulations on your victory. Very keen to see how you guys perform heading all the way through the season. And thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you. That's going to be that, Tony. So big shout out to Jason there for jumping in, giving us a bit of insight. But, speaking about some things we want to get some insight into, Tony, let's talk about our sponsors. So, first and foremost, I want to say a big shout out to AGON by AOC, the #1 gaming monitor brand in the world. AGON by AOC provide best-in-class monitor solutions for gaming and all other needs. But next up, let's think about Indomie, the noodle partner. Made with high quality flour and selected ingredients and spices, a plate of Indomie mee goreng will certainly brighten up your day. Try any one of the flavors available today from your local grocer or at indomie.com.au. Big shout out to Indomie there. Keeping all the great stuff for us, and are keen to see more from them into the future. But Tony, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. You know, we're 2 games through, some quick 2-0s, but a lot of great answers out of the interviews there. You know, one team showing flexibility in their play, but the other there, of course, speaking that, you know, 2-2-2 is kind of just the way to go. You know, I've been speaking a lot about the triple heal strategist, the triple kind of compositions that can come out, even triple tank we saw for a little bit there with the Strange to get them back to the point, but you know, a lot of flexibility being shown for both of these teams and a lot of these players. And Matt, we're going to be getting into this next one in just a little bit. RMIT taking on Swinburne.
That's right. Keen to see how that one looks, Tony, and keen to take a look at their rosters right now, as we have RMIT coming at you with Air Ninja, Smiles, Osaragi, Zayranka, Ethan Winters 44, Alk, and on the Swinburne side, it's going to be Skyd, Blooper Duper, Kaya, Jonkla Fiend, Kaguya, and Tina. So very unique players donning these rosters this time around.
Yeah, a lot of interesting names, and not as familiar faces, Matt. We'll get to know them throughout the season, of course. But yeah, we'll be going once again to Royal Palace for our first map here in the series. Domination, as of course, we'll be loading in to pick some bans. Curious to see whether we see some more target bans, because, you know, as they said, permaban Psylocke in that last one. You know, you hate to see it if you're a player that kind of wanted to show up and show off in the first game.
That's right. Keen to see how they show up right now as we get into the pick ban phase here. Eager to see what does go through here. We've got Luna Snow. Going to be banned out with Groot there. So, first picks will be Hella. Immediately picked out there for the RMIT side. Keen to see what Swinburne actually looks to select this time around. Curiosity. Hasn't killed the cat yet, but we'll see what happens heading into this next one. I already like seeing the Human Torch hover way out from Kaya here to Tony.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? Especially with you know, the foresight that Hella got locked in here from RMIT. Probably won't be seeing that one, because Hella, you know, very good hit scan character, very good at taking out those characters that take to the air, like your Star-Lords, like your Iron Mans, like your Human Torches. And we're going to be seeing a lock and ban actually onto the Star-Lord. So maybe they still will opt for the Torch. I don't know how to feel about that one, especially with the Hella being locked in, but not actually picked by RMIT. They're just going to say, we've got Hella there if we really need it, but for the moment, just kind of floating about a few different things. Going to be seeing the Black Widow here out of Ethan's Winter, potentially.
Definitely eager to see what this is all going to look like. We did see Black Widow actually come out earlier into the piece, so definitely excited to see if they are going to be able to tap into those capabilities there. I'm already loving the different team-ups, I suppose, across both rosters here. You know, we can see we've got the Fantastic Four team up there, Human Torch coming out with the Invisible Woman for Swinburne. And it looks like we're going to be playing around with different combinations for RMIT as well. So really excited to see who's going to be able to find the upper hand here, I suppose. And it's great that across all of the series that have been playing out tonight, that we've had unique, different compositions. It's never really been the same at any point.
Yeah, showing a lot of flexibility. One thing, though, that has been prominent through most of these games has been a kind of Magneto pick, right? It's you see everybody from RMIT grouping up into the portal, taking up on the hike here. and then just dropping off. Taking that space early, and then kind of just showing it that we're not scared, we're not threatened by the side of Swinburne just yet. Smiles. I'm looking around the back line here with the Psylocke. That's the ability of that character, BkWhatOCE. Already finding a quick pick there.
Yeah, great way to kick off here, and keen to see what else they are going to be able to do now. Human Torch looks to light things up. Going to see the damage there, but Zedrang does manage to get the kill through, and maybe looking for more. Human Torch, though, locked in, but they're going to be locked out by the Hella. Really well played by them there, just isolating these picks one after the other. Penny Parker going down as well, and the more squishy characters just being targeted by this Psylocke. So you can tell they're locked into this one. They will be able to take off with the early point percentage.
Psy locked in right now. Early percentage building for RMIT, and I have to say, that fight wasn't too bad at the start of it for Swinburne. KO did get some good damage across with the flames, with the pillars of fire. Now has that ultimate up, so curious to know how they will play this one out as well. We do see the team up with the Invisible Woman, so res heal up the shields quite well, and here comes the Torch ultimate coming out, burning to a cinder a few players. It is as well Blooper Duper jumping in with the Wolverine. Magneto M coming back here from the side of Air Ninja, but it doesn't hit its mark. Everybody's so healthy here. The support ultimates came out very early, but they're keeping everybody topped up for the moment. Loki ult counteract with the Invisible Woman. Area of effect heal there. Back to the Loki, but another kill once again for K to start it off.
That's right, another kill to come through. Another one bites the dust, and keen to see how they must erupt onto the point here. They hold back a second longer, waiting for the enemies to flow through, setting up a little traps along the way. Good damage over time will keep them primed up and prepared for battle. But see if they are going to be able to whittle them down slowly but surely as they build up that percentage in the same nature here. The enemies now start to build up. RMIT Redbacks are ready to push in. The kill already coming out from Cloak and Dagger, though. Good double up from a Swinburne, ready to try and churn them out one after the other. Good web comes through, and Wolverine looks to punish them as well. Slice and dice. They're ready to say goodnight to these players. They will be able to force them all the way back to spawn.
Sending them all the way back to spawn. You can see, double tank, double Vanguard for the side of RMIT, and that's why the Wolverine's been brought to the table here for the side of Swinburne. It's a great counter. It's a great tank shredder, if you will. Of course, very good at dishing out a ton of upfront DPS, and then, of course, being able to either leap deeper into the prey or back off completely. As we can see, taken to the skies, it is Osaragi taking out one onto side. And this forces back Swinburne, because, of course, the point cap now starts to come. And you can see, trying to find a little bit more, trying to stagger these players back to their spawn for the moment, but they're able to hold safe. They've got so much cover there towards the back side of that building.
Yeah, back to the building, and back to building themselves up here. Going to see if they can do just that. Human Torch ready to go Scorched Earth on it. Ult comes through. They are trying to get those fire tornadoes with the Eye of Agamotto. Going to put a quick stop to that. Great stuff from Zed Ranker there. Good trade-off onto the Psylocke as well. Really trying to lock in and see what they can do for their teams here. But no more kills come through yet. I spoke too soon. Goodbye, Wolverine, and perhaps goodbye to many more around the corner as well. As we head into OT here, RMIT so close to taking this map right now. Really forcing Swinburne off the point as quick as they possibly can. If they don't get on, it's over and out. And just like that, RMIT lock in and take the first point of the Royal Palace. Goodbye to the Bifrost Garden, and hello to Odin's Archive.
Yeah, that one was a little bit closer of what we've seen previously, right, Mads? Of course, a little bit more back and forth for both of these sides, and I have to say, unfortunate last bit there from Swinburne, not quite able to touch the point. They had a few ultimates. I thought the Magneto would be able to get on and pop that Meteor M, but well played controlling the space from RMIT. And for the moment, of course, we have a few ultimates as well up. We do have Goddess of Death. We do have the Psylocke ult as well. So I imagine RMIT going to be playing a little bit more aggressive. Maybe pop those ultimates, try to take some early point control. We will be seeing the swap up. It's going to be Ethan over to Jeff playing sharp. Loki now.
Switch up there, and keen to see how it all plays out, I suppose. It's great to see, again, the adaptability of the teams here. Speaking of, Portal going to be activated immediately by RMIT here. They're already just looking to hold off and just try and isolate them out as best they can. You have that Psylocke ultimate available as well, so very eager to see if they are going to be forced to activate that one. Try and press them back a little bit there. It looks like they're going to be forced back themselves, though, because Air Ninja has already gone down, and their teammates may be quick to follow, considering Kaya is great to get a lot of damage built up. But speaking of, Skyed is gone.
Yeah, Skyed's gone. Great Psylocke ult coming out from Smiles and still being an ever-looming presence in the backline, stopping the strategists from healing up their players. Meteor M out from a Jongle Fiend, but it's not doing all too much when Osaragi is hitting marks like that. Jongle Fiend sent packing, and that's point capped now here for RMIT. Interesting control of the height that they tried to take early there with the portal, but it's a back straight away from Swinburne. They've got a portal of their own to work with. Jongle Fiend swapping immediately from the mag now to the Strange.
That's the ticket, Tony, and keen to see just to what else they are going to be able to do here. They head back a second longer now. There goes Wolverine, jump straight into it. Good slice and dice. They will be able to splice together a bit of damage there. Smiles does go down, and perhaps more to follow with the torch ult here, but there we go. Opposing Strangers down. Good damage from Osaragi there. Just holding it back a second longer. That percentage continuing to favor RMIT here.
Yeah, nothing found with the Goddess of Death, but it doesn't really matter. Meteor M popped here from Air Ninja, trying to snipe out the Cloak and Dagger, getting that ultimate across. So everybody getting topped up here, slowly but surely trickling up in HP. Gaia over the top with some beautiful fire there on top of all of these players. Blooper Duper will be trying to follow that one up. Osaragi taking out Gaia. The point has been capped back for the moment for Swinburne, but we've still got a strong ever-looming presence that is RMIT. Immediately back onto the point. Osaragi taking out Jongle Fiend. And Rank as well, putting on the pressure to the back line, and it is looking rough now here. Spider time for the Penny Parker, but immediately deleted by the Maelstrom.
Great stuff coming through from them. They're really able to lock in and deal the damage that they need to here, but we'll see what else they are going to be able to manage now. They hold back a second longer, prepared for what's to come. Trying their best to just prepare themselves for battle. Strange doing a great job to keep themselves alive, holding back. Does have the Eye of Agamotto available should they need to activate here. Psylocke ultimate doing pretty decent work, but not good enough to get the kills there. Strange's shield just a little bit too good to yield good results there. But speaking of results, Wolverine prepared to get some. Here's an Eye of Agamotto though. Great lock in there, but they are going to be forced out by a Wolverine. Incredible efforts, and this could be time for a turnaround.
And time for a turnaround. Goddess of Death coming out from Osaragi. Air Ninja taking out Tina, and now it's up to Kea. It's up to Blooper Duper down on the low ground. Osaragi taking out Kea, and another gets the res onto the Loki. And it is looking rough, and it is looking all over here in this first map. Beautiful hold from RMIT. Just when you thought, that Eye of Agamotto didn't quite do what RMIT wanted, it was just there to stall. The rest of them were able to take space off of that one with all of the attention that was drawn to the Strange. Well-earned victory for RMIT. A MVP here to the Invisible Woman. Interesting one.
Yeah. Yes, the support doing a lot of work there, Tony. So there you go. That's the way it's going to go, isn't it? But definitely keen to see what else is going to be on the horizon here, Tony. I think that, we've got a lot more fun that's on its way through and yet to come here, but we'll see what else is looking good as we move on into the second map there. Definitely was keen to see, I suppose, more of the capabilities of both these rosters. And I like the diversity in their picks there. So excited to see what else they're going to be able to bring to the table. And I suppose it wasn't entirely a one-sided matter. You know, it definitely remained a ever competitive matchup. And that's what you like to see.
Yeah, that's what you like to see. And I have to give credit to KO, right? You know, I wasn't expecting the Human Torch pick going into the games this evening. You know, Human Torch has been a little bit weaker in terms of statistically speaking, you know, ranked and competitive and stuff like that. It hasn't quite hit its mark, but KO did put out some quite impressive ultimates, some quite impressive damage to 17k, only 1,000 away from Osaragi, who did quite a bit there for the side of RMIT. So props to KO playing that torch well, but yeah, it definitely felt like a little bit of the coordination in some of those fights didn't go the way Swimmer would have wanted.
Yeah, no, definitely didn't. And I think that maybe that's something they need to take to the drawing board as they head into this next sector here, Tony. You know, obviously they're going to have a lot to think about after losing out that first map there. They really need to consider their options and figure out how they want to approach this next one, because obviously they're already down a map and it's first of 2 maps. So they really need to consider how they want to move forward.
Yeah, they need to consider as well what the next pick will be, Convoy. So maybe some definite change in the composition. You know, maybe we get rid of the Loki here from the side of RMIT. We get rid of the Penny, of course, as well from Kagaya. And you know, we see some different picks potentially. Venom's always one that's it's been pretty good on a Convoy map, and you know, it's all up in the air, Matt. You know, first day here of the Elite Series, and still a lot to work out about these teams, I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And keen to see, I suppose, how they're going to be able to figure each other out, I suppose, and figure out how they want to adapt around one another, you know, because there's certainly a little early learning curve. They kind of have to learn how they both play around one another and see exactly what they are going to be able to achieve against one another. Obviously, some of the teams are already scrimming. You know, we've heard that pretty consistently across both of our interviews so far, and excited to see, I suppose, what else is going to be on the horizon here.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing. I definitely would hope to see I guess a change up here and maybe the Vanguards, because it felt like John Clefine was a little bit out of his element. You know, we saw Magneto to start, and then he swapped over to the Strange, and it was you know, hopefully you can iron that one out, because John Clefine, you know, showed some good form on the Strange. So hopefully looking to see that one different. Blooper Duper as well on the Wolverine. Didn't mind that one. Didn't quite do as much as I was expecting, right? You know, as we see, Wolverine always a great counter to those double Vanguard comps that people are running. And you know, from our last interview, everybody running 2-2-2, it would seem no crazy diversity in terms of you know, lineups. So yeah, Wolverine always a good pick for that one. Hopefully Blooper Duper can lock it in for the second one. But yeah, anything to point out that went particularly well for RMIT in that last one, Matt?
Yeah, I'd say that their confidence, I suppose, the way that they synergized around one another really stood out to me there. You know, I really enjoyed how they were able to incorporate their healers and just keep themselves, I suppose, cashed up in the sense of HP. You know, they just had a wealth of health and they were able to really just play around the point very confidently. So definitely keen to see more of what they can do heading into this second map here, and excited to see exactly what that's all going to look like. You know, I think that there's no room for monkeying around here. It's all business into this this one, and keen to see how the pick ban phase starts to look once we do get into it, Tony. But yeah, I'm excited for what the next set of picks and bans look like, and keen to see if we have any more difference of characters already. Seeing some interesting things hovered there, but speaking of hover, Hella is not going to be hovering in the server.
Yeah, no, taking to the skies this time for the likes of Osaragi. Hella bit of a target ban there, so an immediate target ban back here from the side of RMIT, taking away Kaya's Human Torch, and we will wait to see lock-ins here for RMIT and Swinburne. And it's a curious one, yeah. Magneto, I definitely would have thought would be of high priority, right? Especially with the fact that Hella's been target banned. What else do you really favor here? Storm being picked up here for Swinburne. We saw Yggdrasil Path, of course, a convoy map. Storm's one of those characters that can really get the momentum going your way if you're able to find what you're after. So the Namor ban, a great answer, right? It kind of controls Storm a little bit. If you're able to just land one spear, the plants immediately from Namor can kind of focus down such a squishy target. Storm, very hard one to hit in air sometimes, but also very easy if you've got plants that auto lock on. Venom being our final ban, so I feel like that's just because RMIT are starting defense here and they don't want any snowball shenanigans with that Venom from Swinburne.
Yeah, they certainly don't want to have any more possibilities of what could be on its way there, and I can certainly understand it, Tony. I think that, you know, leave room for them to really shine through. But speaking of shining through, the rosters are looking to shine through right now, as we do have a little bit of a difference come through. We can see a few different picks there. The Winter Soldier coming out this time, and but we do have the Storm making its way onto the scene as well. So eager to see how that's going to look like once we do get into it here. I think that both rosters certainly going to be putting in as much efforts as they can to really compose themselves here.
Yeah, and well, Osaragi over to the Psylocke. A little bit of an interesting adaptation because, you know, now Smiles was on the Psylocke previously, the Punisher. Swapping styles of DPS, I was going to say. We saw a little bit out of UTS in that last game. They kind of, you know, one player kind of playing those heavy dive fast characters, as Jason told us. And you know, showing the diversity in the pool for these DPS players. As you can see, Blooper Duper wanting to get deep and take out that respawn beacon immediately from Ethan Winters. Smart call.
Smart call, and they even get even smarter now. Spider-Man diving in and gets absolutely annihilated. Speaking of annihilation, going to be on the way soon with this turret, just doing work from a distance there. Not able to really deal with it, considering they've got no one to push past at the moment, but they do take out Magneto. That's going to open up a plethora of opportunities here, but not looking to tap into it just yet. Push still goes forward with no sign of stopping here for Swinburne, and they're just locked in right now. I think they've got a smooth path all the way through towards that first checkpoint with little to no resistance there. So an entire change-up on their side has really landed them a good slice of the pie here.
Yeah, I like this adaptation. Picking up the Bucky. And yeah, good on picking off these tanks, right? You know, we saw the Wolverine came out from Swinburne, didn't quite have the effect that they would have wanted. So straight to the Bucky, straight to another thing that can counteract these tanks. You just hook one into your backline and completely load them up with the rest of the teammates around you. All ultimates starting to come online here for the side of Swinburne, and it is going to be armed and dangerous. Speaker, the Bucky will be dishing it out. The Punisher ultimate in return here from Smiles, trying to lay to waste their foes. And it is going to be one too quick here with the help of a ninja, trying to take out Blooper Duper up in there. He's able to get away 50 points of HP into the lying arms of the Luna. But great defense there. A lot of ultimates extended, I have to say, from the side of RMIT. So not what you want to see, especially going into 4 minutes still on the clock here for Swinburne. Very rough.
Yeah, it's a rough way to begin, but thankfully they've still got a bit more time before the end, so it's not all dire as yet. Speaking of, Spider-Man almost placed into a dire situation there. Does manage to slip back to the healer, though. Luna doing a great job to keep their team healthy as can be and pushing as confident as ever. But speaking of confident, Psylocke ready to ult. It dives into the back line. That is some damage, and they have done the work right there. Finding kill after kill. Their team makes the blood spill, and they can hit the hard reset on that one. Good way to take away some time and take away some of the confidence from Swinburne.
Yeah, I'm very curious to know. Osaragi was like a slither of HP, so the fact that they didn't see him on the stairs there was unfortunate, and that kind of stalls a whole minute off the clock here for Swinburne. The rest of the team as well can start to build up those ultimates, and well, for the side of Swinburne, they're still looking to make their pressure be known. They're still looking to put their best foot forward. A lot of damage into the Doctor Strange, but it is a quick trade back from Osagari in that back line, just dealing with these backline healers, just kind of getting the picks that are necessary to stall this hold, stall this push. And that armed to dangerous once again for Shide, not finding anything.
Yeah, not finding anything this time, and keen to see if they are going to be able to find it now. And Ninja find Sky there. We'll see if they can glide across to another kill as they hold on desperately to the point here. Spider-Man solo up high does say goodbye and looks to reach for the sky with more kills on the way. Trying to aim for the back line. It's Psylocke locked in. Does find one at least, another one close by, but that Winter Soldier luckily stops them in their tracks.
And well, for Smiles, maybe a little bit overextension with the Punisher ultimate, but it's all right. You know, it happens. Kind of a miscommunication that in the heat of battle, always bound to happen. You know, it's not perfect play from half these teams sometimes, and you know, a little bit over eager. As we can see now, almost a minute and a half left on the clock for the side of Swinburne, and they're taking a different approach up through the alleyway. That will go this time, a little bit less choke heavy. He's going to be here. I believe a amplifier coming out here from Ethan in the back, and he's going to be potential for the hold once again. Mega just holding up in that front line. Spider-Man is going to go deep. Spider-Man 3, Blooper Duper goes absolutely haymaker with a spectacular showdown there. That's the point, Caps. Beautiful work there.
Yeah, really able to find it there. Perfect angle forward. And they managed to break through with confidence. Exactly what they needed there. A moment like that. Stab him in the back. Look to hit the ground running. Time certainly wasn't on their side as well, so building up a little more is going to be only a positive for them. They haven't pushed it over the line yet. Magneto goes for the ultimate here. Does manage to catch the Invisible Woman there. Just barely off the mark here. They're looking for Winter Soldier as well. Finding a lot of damage through there. Somehow both players still alive, still kicking. And they've managed to fight their way back, Tony. Against all odds, right on the edge of 0.9 meters, they managed to fight back. 20 seconds remain now, and it's going to be a tough call to push it forward.
Yeah, tough, rough look now, because as well, we've got Smiles with the ultimate. The portal will come through. Punisher more than surely going to stop this Eye of Agamotto across the backline. Raga as well with Smiles following up with the Psylocke ultimate, and those players, they come out of the portal and they're immediately sent packing and dissipated in the blink of an eye. As RMIT are able to hold it down there in that first round. Only 107 meters pushed by Swinburne.
Great stuff coming out there. And they will be able to hold strong. So RMIT minimizing the distance they need to cover there. And certainly showing that they are able to remain confident even in sticky situations. But we'll see how Swinburne now performs, heading through onto their own defense now. As you can see already, adapting their composition. They've got the Penny Parker potentially being locked in here, Tony. You did talk about Penny Parker's defensive capabilities. If you're able to lock down a spot, utilize those mines and make sure they aren't easily seen, they really can manage to find a lot of confidence there in locking in a position. But the issue is going to be if they lose that position, then they're really going to have to find an adaptation there. But speaking of adaptations, RMIT on Osaragi have managed to lock in with the Widow.
Yeah, Black Widow here for Saragi, and oh, got the new High Noon. I don't remember what the skin's called, but it looks swanky. You know, you get a hat, get a interesting looking gun, but you know, we divulge different pickup here as well. We're gonna be seeing Smiles on the Scarlet, so RMIT experimenting a little bit with the picks. I like that Scarlet lock with the Magneto. You can kind of combo very well. It gives the Magneto a lot more burst potential and a lot more damage dished out early. So a lot of frontline presence being established here by Air Ninja and Rank right now. The rest of them just slowly push that cart.
Slowly but certainly push the cart through there, Tony, and eager to see what else they are going to be able to achieve as already. Black Widow, great shots coming out. Huge damage all the way down the back there. You can tell they're locked and loaded on this one. Just jumping through right now, trying to get around the back line. Luna Snow taking a lot of punishment there. They need to get away and quick, otherwise they are going to be out of here. Spider-Man comes at the perfect time there, otherwise could have had one less healer. Speaking of, Spider-Man continues their assault straight into the backline here. Once they rip one DPS apart, they just do not stop. Skyd, great to lock in those kills as well. And it feels like it just never ends.
Yeah, Spider-Man's one of those characters that can, I guess, deal very well with the picks that just came out, but immediate changes here from Smiles and Osaragi to the Psylocke and the Punisher. And, well, beautiful dive there from Blooper Duper. Expected to see of your Spider-Man player, right? You want to see them kind of getting those picks in the back line. You know, a lot of reliance as well from the side of Swinburne, especially when it comes to Blooper Duper finding those picks. So a lot on his shoulders. Armed Dangerous coming out here from Stride. And he's going to be dashing on in, jumping this back line as well. Bang for another shot and resets again onto Osaragi. And another onto Orchid. There is another onto Air Ninja and Ranker, just clean and collected from Shide. That sends them back in 2 minutes left now for RMIT to regather their troops and think about their next approach.
Yeah, gather their thoughts and think about their next way forward here, Tony. Eager to see exactly what's going to be coming out of the mix here as they hold back a second longer. Waiting to see what's yet to come now. Skyd, good to push ahead here. Osaragi does lock in the first though. They are slowly creeping up on it. Good to utilize the ultimate here, play around the defense, but that defense gets ripped apart. Smiles goodbye, and perhaps more could follow. You have Air Ninja with the ultimate though. Oh, that's going to be big if they can land it on someone. And yes, they will. Goodbye to the Invisible Woman. And perhaps maybe more will be following. The Eye of Akamoto available as well. That could be a huge one if they can use it at the right time here.
Great bubble.
Let's see if they can manage it. Holding back a second longer here.
Oh, great pick there from Smiles. I was going to say the bubble onto Doctor Strange from Air Ninja, just keeping him alive after he got pulled by the Bucky. Well, the picks trickle in the favor of RMIT. Player will be trying to touch the cuts. Blooper Duper and the Invisible Woman, Kaya, able to stall this point for the moment because that Invisible Woman ultimate keeps them all healthy. You need to blow these players up very quickly. And you can see Kaya is forced back for the moment, but the rest of the cavalry are arriving here for the side of Swinburne. There's an ultimate popped here by Cloak and Dagger. Ether Winter trying to get that damage dealt across the back line here. Smiles as well with another. And we can see these players did come back quickly, but the shotgun from Smiles, great answer for the Spider-Man as well. And, you know, they tried to stall that point. Well played from Swinburne, but once again, RMIT are able to keep it pushing forward for the moment.
Yeah, they continue on the pursuit here and will be able to push ahead once again. Good setup on the turret as well now, just waiting for their teammates to be forced back by the enemies there. They should be able to lock themselves back here. See, they are going to be able to manage a little more though. Spider-Man dives deep onto the Punisher. Good night to that one. Looking for more as well around the band, but the point still pushing up. Not being contested yet, but here we are. Spider-Man is ready to play.
Yeah, 66% towards that ultimate. You have to be careful if you're RMIT, right? You know, you got 2 minutes to work with, but you don't want to stagger, you don't want to falter here, as we can see the Meteor M coming out from Air Ninja, trying to snipe onto the Lunar Snow to pop the ultimate, but of course trying to actually find the Invisible Woman. Kea, the point of contact here for that Meteor if it was able to be found, but Osaragi holding on to the Dance of the Butterfly. It will be popped now towards the back line, takes out the Luna, takes out the Magneto, does some good damage as well onto the Penny. Smiles will be able to find one as well onto the Bucky. And Smiles keeps firing away. That ultimate is ripping to shreds. This backline blooper duper falls as well. And that point is getting close to completion here. Spider time not going to happen. Kaguya taken out. A few more players left to find here.
A few more players left to find, and perhaps more on the way. Captain America even brought out as a last-ditch effort there, trying to stall them out, but when in doubt, stall them out. It will not work. RMIT will be able to play it up, take control, and take the map. 2-1. Incredible stuff coming out from them. The hard work pays off, and they will find victory.
Yeah, an MVP, well deserved for Air Ninja. The Magneto Meteor M's. You know, he missed one here or there, but it's kind of the burden you bear as the Magneto player, right? You know, either these ultimates go absolutely sick and you take out a key target, like he was taking out Kea there on the Invisible Woman in that map, or of course in the last map. Air Ninja played that Magneto super, super well. A great damage block stat as well, 34k. On the side of Swinburne, had some good tanks, some good soaking of the damage, but unfortunately just couldn't quite come together for them. SVP to Kea, of course, because Kea played well. Can't fault it, but you know, some of those butterfly dances coming out from Osaragi were very key in locking that one up for RMIT.
Absolutely, definitely had some key performances there, and it really goes to show hard work does pay off, and was really keen to see exactly how they played that one out. But good to see a victory come through again. Another 2-0, Tony. It seems to be the pattern tonight, and you're going to hear all about it right after the break. Welcome back, everybody, to the AEL University Elite Series Marvel Rivals here with Matzy and TwoTapTony. Tony, another series, another banger. It just keeps delivering.
And another 2-0. I was gonna say we've had some crazy luck, it would seem, in some quick games, but of course some very competitive games, I have to say, especially that last one. Royal Palace into Yggdrasil Path, always a treat to watch on both sides. But I was gonna say, yeah, that last convoy, it could have went either way.
Absolutely, and keen to hear exactly how it could have gone either way, as we have one of our favorite players here from the winning roster. Welcome in, Smiles.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you, and I guess jumping out of that game, what do you think were some of the biggest challenges you guys faced?
We had one of our players call in sick today, so that was a little rough. Had to panic warm up my DPS out of nowhere in some of the most sweaty quick play games you'll ever see.
We love that, and I guess it's great to see that you're adaptable. It's one of the qualities that we've seen from all of our winning rosters today, so keen to see more of that into the rest of the season. But Tony, what would you like to ask Smiles?
Oh, I want to pick your brain a little bit, because we've seen a ton of 2-2-2 so far today. How do you guys feel about changing up compositions, or do you guys kind of just feel comfortable with the 2-2-2?
For the moment, we're pretty rehearsed with 2-2-2, but we do have something interesting cooking up in the background.
Ooh,
But no spoilers for that one, not yet. You'll have to wait and see.
I'm excited for it, and I guess speaking of that, I suppose jumping into hypotheticals, is there any teams that are kind of on your horizon as someone which could be like a really big challenge for you guys?
We're looking at Monash a fair bit. We're watching the stream a bit earlier, and there's a fair bit of fan behavior towards 6. So eyes are on that guy a little bit.
Yeah,
especially from you two.
Well, what do you mean, man? We keep it unbiased here. Six a good player. Yeah, definitely want to see you guys go toe to toe with Monash. Somebody has to take him down, right? In terms of how you guys are feeling, what was the practice? What were a few of the teams were talking about scrims. How you guys been warming up into this tournament?
We're getting there with scrims. It's been a little bit rough trying to organize them. Yeah. Getting 6 uni students on one side and then on the other side to agree on a time is a mission and a half. But we're getting there. Getting more consistent as the time's gone on, at least.
That's what we like to see, and definitely keen to see, I suppose, more heading into the future. And yeah, I suppose I want to say a big thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you on, and definitely excited to see. Hello to whoever's in the background.
Oh, that's
there.
my roommate.
Yeah. There you go. But, yeah, no, thank you so much for coming on, and I'm really excited to see what you guys can do heading into the rest of the season.
That's no worries. Thank you for having me.
All good, all good. Tony, there you go. An exciting interview there. We always love to see the different characters, I suppose, we get to see from every different roster there. And excited for, the next one to come in our last series of the day as well.
Yeah, what a nice guy. It was a pleasure to chat to Smiles there. And all these interviews have been great. I was going to say a lot of info, but of course, shout out to Smiles there, giving us a little bit of a teaser into something that might be cooking up in the background. Hopefully, we'll see that come to fruition in our future games, our future days of competition. But yeah, I was going to say, very cool insight, and curious to see, we've seen some 2-0s so far. We've got one more game coming up in just a little bit. I believe it is UNSW taking on MQU. So why don't we check out the rosters, Matt?
Yeah, let's check it out. And we see UNSW donning Muffin, Rez, Frost, Nova, Jeloshi, Lick. And for the MQU side, we got Tashi, 250R, Nascent, Technovius, Helix 16, Asham, and Just the Tuna. Yep. That's the one. And
Just the Tuna.
Yeah, Just the Tuna. But they're definitely keen to get into the game as well. Eager to see what these rosters can do, Tony. I think we've got, lot of fun things on the horizon here. We've seen some really exciting games so far, and I think that this one will be no exception.
Yeah, no exception as well. No sway away from what we've been doing so far tonight. Royal Palace being, of course, our first map domination for both of these teams in our last game of this evening. And, well, I'm curious, Matt, you know, what do we see another 2-0? Do we see some different picks, too? Because a lot of these teams have kind of been playing a lot of similar stuff here. So, you know, it's a lot of heavy favorites towards, you know, your Hellas, your Magnetos, your Strangers even. We've seen a lot of Loki as well tonight. I was going to say, I wasn't expecting that character to be such a prominent pick, but bans come through for both sides. It's UNSW taking away the Lunar Snow. It is going to be MQU taking away Magneto. So, you know, a lot of the characters we've seen already been taken out.
That's right. It seems that they know exactly what they don't want to deal with. I like that we've got an Adam Warlock hover coming over here, Tony. I think we haven't seen Adam Warlock pretty much at all today, so excited to see that one come into the fold. But interesting they've picked out Mr. Fantastic as the first pick there. I don't think we've seen that at all today. We saw it hovered a couple times, but otherwise haven't seen it, period. So keen to see if that will actually come to fruition here, or what else could be on the horizon, as we've got our next set of bans on the way now. I can see that Macquarie are very keen on that Jeff, so maybe they picked that out. Who knows?
Unfortunately, they all can't pick it. Oh, yeah, the thing's been taken out. Yeah, unfortunately, they all can't pick the Jeff, though, Matt. This is a competitive game mode. So, only one of them gets the luxury. Yes, Star-Lord being taken out. A little bit of an interesting ban. The focus as well on Fantastic here from UNSW was not what I was expecting to see, but as well as to throw back to an interview, my eyes are on Frost here. I believe that's the player UTS we're talking about when we got to speak to them. Frost is, you know, one of the players that kind of scared them in the scrims. They went 3-3 between them. So, you know, my eyes are on Frost for this one as we see triple heal for the first time here. UNSW rocking that one.
There you go, Tony. Looks like they're bringing out a little bit of diversity into the split here, and keen to see how they manage to play it out now. 30 seconds preparations, and they are going to be absolutely fired up and ready to rumble here. Curious to see which roster will be able to find the prominence to guide their way to victory. First of two maps will be the victor, and you're going to see who's going to be able to do it. Will we find the triple healer comp manages to find success here, or will it be back to the traditional comp? Does find more success. Let's find out as we jump straight into it right now.
And we don't start here on Odin's archive. We get a little bit more of a different sighting. As we can see Frost just kind of crawling up the wall, getting some info. That's the ability of the Venom, right? You can get along the walls and get in the face of your opponents in no time at all. The rest of them trying to play for control of that point. Captain America a little bit devious there from Technoviz. And, well, taken out by Frost early on here as the Venom crawling along the walls once again, climbing up those pillars, diving into the back line. Great pull back there from Tashi, forcing Frost quite lower HP, but he's got the backup of the rest of his teammates here. Nova with the Black Panther, more than assuredly able to assist him.
Yeah, able to assist, and they are able to find more ways into it. As they hold down the choke now, Nova ready to jump in, spear through the chest. They're ready to do what they do best and get pressed by the Wolverine there. Great lock-in and good secure coming through from both those DPS players there. Macquarie, you know that they are just absolutely into it right now. They know exactly what they came here to do, and they're doing just that. Pinning them down and keeping them out.
Yeah, great gapping of the kidnaps as well. I was gonna say not what the side of UNSW were expecting. So well played by Tashi to start that one off very, very quickly. 40% capped from UNSW, but now Time starts to tick up here. Ultimates as well starting to come to fruition here. For the Captain America role, we already have the last stand pop by Tashi, getting in the fray already once again, trying to counteract this Venom. I feel like Wolverine's a good pick for that one. Definitely a lot of tank shred towards his back line, and you can see a lot of damage being dealt out. Captain America now in the back line as well. Just so much dive coming out from the face of Macquarie, and they are just continuing to put the pressure on. Punches left, rights from Techno. Forced back to the spawn once again. 40% now up here for the side of MQU.
It's the one. Locked and loaded now. We look to push a little further along as Macquarie put themselves into the lead here and look to speed ahead with confidence. We're going to see what else they are going to be able to achieve now as we hold back a second longer here. Captain America, Novius, straight into it. Nova's down, looking for more as well. They push straight into the back lines there, trying to shut down this Mantis, but they are healed up just as swiftly here. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. They're still alive, though, still kicking. Now Technovius tries to find their way back, but my word, it's been such a back and forth endeavor.
And born again, the res comes out from Resh, and it is keeping everybody up now for the moment. Muffin is back in the fray. Great shot here from Nova, though, on the back line. Will be able to use that dance of the butterfly. Trying to find one on Atash and an immediate execution of the Wolverine. Nova trying to bounce around, though, trying to avoid the Bucky shots right now. It is a jiggle left-right. It is going to be nicely taking him out. Quick trade back, though. Frost is still on the point and still trying to hold it down for the rest of UNSW to come back and in full fruition come through the portal and swing up in the air from Frost. It is a fight for the point right now on top of the Invisible Woman. Shroud and it is doing so much work here, keeping these players healthy. Nova with another pick onto the rocket. There's another healer taking out Nova with the Eye of Agamotto here from Helix, but it's all for North. Oh, you feel it would seem that everybody here from the side of UNSW is up and they're healthy. Still players coming back for the respawns right now. Dead. No, trying to get in. Will be taken out shortly. Dispatch goes all the way into OT with 99% there for MQU.
Yeah, really got it quite close there, but they do manage to push it back in the end. So UNSW now in the driver's seat once again now. Curious to see if they can hold on to it, considering they've had their fair share of struggles here. But ultimately, once they continue to build up that percentage, things could take a quick change. We'll see how this choke plays out now, though. Venom straight into the back line, trying to take out Little Bad there from the rocket. Don't want to deal with any resurrections, and good timing on it because Stranger's gone down, so they won't be seeing that come back anytime soon. Might be seeing a few more bits of damage, though, but not for long. The Winter Soldier goes bye-bye, and more to follow. Really great way to just deal with these little pieces, one after the other here.
Yeah, very much like how Nova's playing this Psylocke. It's just in the fray, but able to slip away at a moment's notice and kind of finding the high priority targets as, well, the Avengers will assemble Techno into the point and immediately taken out by Muffin. It is a stronghold once again here for UNSW. We see the Eye of Agamotto come out here, the stun to lock up these players, the amplifier from Just a Tuna. Tashi trying to get in with the last stand, trying to shred out these tanks. Once again, it is going to be Nascently for one, though. It is a attempt here from Macquarie as they look to put on, and Res comes through for Resh. There's still so many players here being picked up by Macquarie. Still so many more to find, though. You can see Venom goes ultimate there. Invisible Woman is taken out. Sorry, that's the Cloak and Dagger actually taken out. Eye of Agamotto comes across from Muffin, but it misses its mark. And all of a sudden now this is looking good for the side of MQU. Muffin taking quite a bit of low HP, but it still players back. Frost has swung in, and this is going to the favor of UNSW. They take the first point of Royal Palace here on the throne room.
And that they do. Throne room captured, but what a close matchup that was, Tony. You can see both teams are just so eager to press this one over the line. Really impressed with the adaptation that came through from UNSW towards the end of that first point as well really just showed that they're focused on the objectives, like Frost diving deep to take out the resurrection pad there. You know that they mean business. They do not want to deal with any unnecessary obstacles, and they're willing to use whatever utility they can to push themselves over the line. Macquarie have been ever vigilant as well, however. It's really been neck and neck all throughout this map so far, and eager to see if they can get a slice of the pie into this second point now. But we'll jump into it.
Yeah, well, we'll jump into it. Second point here, both these sides. And, well, closer than we've seen so far out of, most of our games tonight, right? It's, all the way up to OT, that the other team's able to cap back and win it out from there. So, looks like it's going to be a good one here on the Royal Palace. Already Tashi. Farming up the stacks, farming up the blood, getting thirsty for a kill or two. Amplifier pop from Just a Tuna. They're trying to shred out the Cloak and Dagger, who's a little bit deep right now, but has the backup of Frost all the way deep into enemy lines. These two players will explode, but Frost is still up and kicking. Uses that shield, well timed perfectly to get to 1000 HP. Healed up by the supports and backs out completely. Well played from Frost. That's how you want the Venom to be utilized.
Yeah, just keep tracking HP. Make sure you can really play into the dive successfully there. Make sure you don't go too deep here. But speaking of, we are going to be jumping in to the fray again. Wolverine goes down. Invisible Woman to follow. More perhaps could be on the chopping block as well. Say goodbye to Winter Soldier, Strange. Everybody getting thrown away here. Rocket so close to being caught as well, but does manage to fall back. So luckily for them. In the meantime, UNSW finding a successful amount of percentage there already above the halfway point.
Yeah, so much space being taken here. You can see this back of Captain America trying to get into the back line. We've got Dance of the Butterfly up here for Nuva. We should be trying to find something, pounce on in onto a few of these players, but staying healthy. The Invisible Woman ult keeps them up. Muffin will be able to take one in the meantime, but the Invisible Woman ult stabilizes this side for MQU. We can see BkWhatOCE trying to keep his healers up, trying to keep his tanks up as well. Accidentally pops the armed and dangerous, trying to find the shot, gets the reset on, and now looks to put the pressure on to a few more of these players in the back line. It's another onto Resh, dive onto the Venom, and it's a kill, but no reset. But it is a point at back to MQU.
Critical moment for it as well. UNSW land on 83, but Macquarie now good to at least close the distance between them as it got dangerously close to the finish line there. But speaking of danger, the portal comes up and they start to run through. Aya Bagamoto comes out, little to no impact there, but they do manage to find a couple of kills at the minimum and look to find a few more, as a matter of fact. Good to get at least the res through from the rocket pad as well, but to be able to find too much further from it as yet as they hold back. Captain America doing their job valiantly, but unfortunately for them, they are going to be shut down promptly. Percentage now back in favor of UNSW. Frost holding the front line there, trying to keep their HP up, keep themselves healed by their healers, but with Wolverine down, they're now going to have a much tougher time to take down Frost here. Percentage building up again. It's OT time. They're on the point, ready to bash their way through this one, Tony. But Psylocke's ult manages to put them at fault. Cost in hand, they hit the sand.
And beautiful, beautiful dive there from Nuva, and a beautiful follow-up from Frost. Now it's going to be overtime, ticked away. It's UNSW. Lock it up at 2-0 here on Royal Palace. A little bit more competitive in that one, Matt, than we've seen on the Royal Palaces so far, but well played, I have to say. Very much liking the Psylocke out of Nuva there, just combating well with Frost as well, earning the MVP. Just the dive presence of those two characters alone, just such a threat that you have to deal with. And of course as well, the AoE ultimates, the Dance of the Butterfly, the Venom ultimate, just dishing out so much damage here. And well, very well played from UNSW. A quick 2-0 there on the Royal Palace.
Absolutely, Tony. Was really impressed with how they managed to just keep themselves alive pretty much the whole way through there. Like the Feast of the Abyss, really well utilized there. Was really great to see the swings coming out from Frost as well. They just, you can tell that they're confident on their character and they know it very, very well. But same could be said of Macquarie. They displayed the utmost confidence there. I was impressed with how they played around their roster. The Wolverines certainly made an impact for a lot of the piece there, but unfortunately wasn't able to propel them over the line. So going to be held back at least a second longer there. But this is obviously going to be the first of two maps. So Macquarie may be looking to seek a bit of revenge into the second one, Tony.
Yeah, hopefully looking to seek some revenge. I feel like there was a little bit of miscommunication as well between the tank line here. Helix kind of left on his own devices because Techno was just so up in the mix trying to take out that triple healer. When you're against a triple heal, you kind of want characters that can just explode damage and kind of like blow up a singular target, right? But unfortunately, the Captain America doesn't really do that. Strange, in a way, does. If you can find a good Eye of Agamotto into the Maelstrom, you can explode your high priority targets. Yeah, I feel maybe just a miscomp here from the side of MQU. Hopefully looking to bounce back going into the next one. Hopefully we see something different. Maybe the Strange wasn't for them.
Yeah, I guess maybe the Strange wasn't on their horizons there, among other characters, Tony. Maybe just trying to play the game the way that they feel confident, Obviously, there's been a few characters which haven't really been able to find their way into the mix for a few teams, so definitely eager to see how they adapt and how they move forward here. I mean, speaking of characters we haven't seen at all, Iron Man, one we haven't seen by anybody coming out tonight, and I suppose it just goes to show, the depth of the picks there. It looks like we've got our next map on the horizon.
And next map on the horizon going to be Spider Islands here. Different change of scenery. I haven't seen Spider Islands tonight, Matt, so it's a good one to see. And hopefully for both these teams, it's a little bit more of the same. It was very competitive that first point, I have to say. So maybe you need to see a little bit more competitive going in this one. Of course, Jeff, a very prominent character on a map like this, so there's a potential for Jeff. There is a potential for a few other things as well. Seen quite a bit of Namor picked on this map, so maybe we see the answer for the Wolverine be the Namor.
Could be. We have seen some great Namors tonight, and definitely eager to see if there's going to be more on the horizon. They definitely know how to utilize that invulnerability bubble. It really does play such a critical role, doesn't it? Because it makes you able to, I guess, make enemies kind of waste some of their abilities on you, or perhaps divert their focus for a little bit there. It's kind of like a little taunt, and considering you can just soak damage, it's just great. You can just chill out, have a fun little time, just vibe out for 2 seconds, and then pop right back out. It's all fun and games, isn't it? But eager to see how the fun and games take a turn heading into this next one. I was kind of disappointed, Tony, that they didn't bring out Mr. Fantastic. One of the teams picked it in the pick ban phase of that last one, but then it didn't even see the light of day.
Yeah, the lock, I believe, was from UNSW, so maybe we'll see it this time around. That Fantastic Four team up going as we go into picks and bans once again. They're hovering the thing this time, Matt. I like that.
There we go.
Ooh, ban on the Adam Warlock. Okay.
Luna Snow going to be banned out in consequence as well, so the support is getting no love in the early pick ban phase here. You're going to see what will be next on the chopping block, though. What could be the first pick from UNSW? It looked to just wander on their thoughts, but not long to go here, and Venom going to be the first pick there. I think that's a big one for them, considering the impact that Frost was able to make on that one into the last one. Definitely can respect that pick, and you get to see what else is going to be picked by their opponents in Macquarie. Oh, there we go.
Ooh, Bucky. Winter Soldier lock here for the likes of Macquarie. I kind of expected that, right? Nasanli played very well in that last map on the Bucky, so definitely love to see the run back there from MQU. And well, what do we see for UNSW? Final ban for Macquarie going to be the Magneto. Starlord ban, very similar bans and picks here from the side of UNSW. Only adaptation is the Adam Warlock ban, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. It looks like Macquarie locking that one in. Do not want to deal with any capabilities from Adam Warlock or whatsoever. But saying that, no Wolverine from them. Looks like this time Frost is playing the Wolverine. They've adapted their composition accordingly. So very curious and keen to see how that all plays out as we do get into the next one now. Triple healer setup. Going to be on the Macquarie side there. A couple of tanks as well as Tashi on the DPS as the Winter Soldier. So let's see how it all breaks down here, Tony. Curious to see which composition is going to find more fruits of their labor here.
You got the fastball special as well, because of course the Thing does the same job the Hulk does. You've got the same team up, so Frost rocking the Wolverine, and Resh going to be over on the Thing. So a little bit of a change up here. We're going to be seeing Lick on the Loki and Nova once again on the Psylocke. Love to see it. A treat to watch in that last map was definitely Nova on the Psylocke. So curious to see how that goes. Techno once again, Captain America just trying to be a threat for this front line and this back line right now, just trying to soak up the attention for themselves. But for the likes of UNSW, they're kind of playing together and they're not letting anybody really get picked off here by Techno. So he's forced to fall back, try and wrap around the back line here. Ross will spot him out. Early engagement though, early push out from Macquarie.
Yeah, early engagement coming out there and eager to see if they can manage to find something from it. Frost trying to dive deep here, takes a lot of damage. Does manage to fall back in time though, and now trying to see if they can do a little more. Muffin gonna be the first one to go, however, and perhaps could be more on the horizon. Rez tries to push back, see if they can get to their team in time here. Certainly been a challenging way forward, but not impossible one. Still trading blow for blow. No one going down though until they find Tashi. This is their chance to strike back, and we'll see if they can do it. But just as quickly as Tashi goes, they come back from the Rocket Res.
And Rocket Res respawns a player, but of course, great answer back there. Kidnap from Frost was key in getting that first one. Nova dashing away with the Dance of the Butterfly, and it is another two from Muffin as they try to put the pressure on. Another Kidnap from Frosty kicks Techno off of the map.
Yeah, they've got good kicks on them, don't they? Definitely a funny way to get it done, but we'll see what else they are going to be able to get done here. Frost waiting for their prey. I like their position. They haven't been spotted, but now going to be jumping into it, finding the captain to see if they can shut them down, get them the heck away from their supports, and try and maintain ground at the same time. It certainly carries its weight of difficulties, but it's not impossible to say the least. Speaking of, here we go, jumping into it. BkWhatOCE, massive, finds 4 kills across it. More to follow. Good res onto Tashi there, trying to keep them into the fray here, but they can only do so much.
Yeah, Force packing back to spawn a wombo combo of ultimates there. Clobbering time from Resh into the eye of Agamotto from Muffin. The follow-up damage as well. Super potent in stopping this push from Macquarie right now. As you can see, Resh just doing one thing does best, right? Running around in a circle, being a nuisance, being a meatball, as some would say. But he's a lovable guy. He's a lovable dude.
Yeah, the Fork certainly coming through there, and keen to see the Wolves maintain stance or be broken down as Frost breaks down 3 players on track for maybe even more, hunting them down piece by piece there. You can see they are bloodthirsty right now. They are going to be held back a second longer. 50 seconds now. Macquarie need to make a last-ditch effort, otherwise may yet be held off successfully. This could be problematic heading into another sector. But we hold on for dear life. Stuns come out onto Tashi there. Good healing, though, to raise the alarms here. Sidelock ultimate doing work as well. They've shut down the res pad there, so you're going to have to work a little bit harder for it. Time continues to trickle through. Speaking of, kills now start to be on the horizon. 3 have found their way forward and more to follow. This is looking good, Tony, and maybe even better. 12 seconds to go here. They need a miracle.
They're going to need a miracle. They're going to need an Agamotto here from Helix. The Muffin Heart's got that one as well, so this is going to be very important timing for both of these tanks right now. Bucky Ultimate coming out of Tashi, trying to dive into the backline, trying to stop the healers from doing anything. Nova as well doing the same on the other side of things. It is armed and dangerous. Tashi going for one. Farm onto Jeloshi, trying to find the thing as well, trying to stop these players from doing anything right now. Trying to hold it down, push it into OT. Frost is able to find another. Nova's still up and kicking for the moment. OT is ticking, but the cap has been found. Payload starting to push here now. Just need to get to that first point. Secure some extra time on the clock here, but of course, Muffin well and truly ready to portal in here, Matt, and this is going to be hard to answer if you're MQU right now. They don't have any ultimates up.
They certainly don't, and now here comes the cavalry. UNSW straight onto the point, looking to deal some damage. Try and deal with the amplifier here as well, but it doesn't even matter. They are doing work right now, shutting them down piece by piece, maintaining the ultimate there. And that is going to be round 1 complete. They've forced their hand and kept them far, far away from that first checkpoint.
And I don't know if you caught it. You said kept their ultimates. I believe Nova might have fat-fingered his at the end there. The Dance of the Butterfly is now gone to start off this second half. But of course, we swap sides. UNSW now to attack. Macquarie to the defense, and man, that's unfortunate to see. It's been kind of a lot about these convoy maps, right? It's only 100 meters here or there for a few of these teams, and the other team is a strong dominant hold, and then they change it over a strong dominant attack. We will be seeing same composition, nothing changing other than Tashi now to the Hawkeye.
We haven't seen a Hawkeye come through, so definitely eager to see what else they are going to be able to bring with that one. See what they can muster. Whether this could be the answer they've been looking for on towards their defense. Certainly not what I was expecting out of any composition today, but hey, anything is ready to surprise here, and ready to see if they've got their eyes on the prize heading forward into the next setup. But let's see how it all goes down as we have seconds remaining now. Players getting prepared for battle and ready to make it count.
Yeah, ready to make it happen. Like you can see, Loki being a little bit sneaky. Frost tries to go for the kidnap. Doesn't quite hit its mark. But you can see how far back Macquarie are forced to play, right? They only, one bad fight, a clean wipe here from UNSW, and it could be all over. Slowly starts to push up here. Had 20-something meters on it. There's a lot of trades back and forth for both of these teams here. Frost able to kidnap, I believe, one there on the Helix. Trade back from Tashi with a great shot. He is trying to play for the space right now. That's the important issue for a Hawkeye player, right? You need to be as safe as possible and away from this Wolverine. Frost is currently running around right now, trying to find something.
Yeah, trying to find something. Found a good catch there. Tries to force them back into it, but they are going to be forced back themselves. Still, great damage is enabled. Technovius shut down. More could be on the chopping block as well if they continue like this. And there they go. Thrown deep into it. Trying to catch Hawkeye. And they're just maneuvering around so fast. Almost impossible to catch, but they will be caught by Hawkeye eventually. Some good shots coming out from Macquarie there. So close to the end of the line, but they do stop them short.
Stop them. Lucky ultimate reset on the clones from Loki. And I saw Nova for a second there. I was like, oh, okay, he's about to pop a tide-changing ultimate, but unfortunately everybody fell a little bit too quickly, so back to the drawing board. Still 2 minutes left to push just 5 meters here. Muffin now with the Eye of Agamotto up. Nova looking for a backstab, but it is going to be a nice shot from Tashi to shut it down. Ultimate now gone down to half percentage here. Frost looking for that last stand as well. Just trying to find an inkling. Eye of Agamotto comes out from Muffin. We'll start up a few players. Follow up from Resh is good. And the rest of the team to bring in Suit. Frost taking out Helix. And that is the card starting to be pushed. These players are starting to drop. It's just a tuna. Now left to a Sardine. And it is going to be UNSW pushing the full way.
That's it, Tony. They will push the full way, and we'll be able to get away with it today. Fantastic stuff coming through from them there. Their confidence brimming through, and it does allow them to secure a confident victory. And it's going to be MVP for Lick this time.
A lot of the strategists getting MVPs as well, the Vanguards. Not a lot of the DPS showing some love. You know, the DPS definitely showed out good form there. Of course, Frost swapping off of the Vanguard role, letting Resh give that one a go because his Adam Warlock was taken out of the picks. Didn't see the Venom, you know. Maybe just a safety, a fallback if necessary, but Frost on the Wolverine was quite a scary threat as well. Resh over to the Thing, showing some diversity here in some of the characters that these guys can play.
Yeah, and like I've been saying, Tony, you know, it's really important to have that adaptability to be able to play pretty much anything, because then you'll be prepared for whatever your opponent throws at you. You know, you'll be able to do whatever you need to do and play with the utmost confidence, and that's what you need in order to be competitive. So great to see that they have that trait. You know, they're adaptable, they're able to make the most of the situation.
Yeah, making the most of the situation. Tashi, not a bad threat there on the Hawkeye. Definitely liked that adaptation from him. Just unfortunately didn't quite find the space for that one. Necessarily as well on the Bucky, good to see. Techno, I feel we might have to workshop that one a little bit. The Thing, definitely a different pick. Definitely a good change up from the Captain America. Played a little bit more with the team that time, and you definitely saw it show out here for Macquarie. They were able to kind of hold a little bit better. The healers were able to as well keep Techno up a little bit longer. So, you know, a lot of small points that just need a little bit fine-tuning going into the next few weeks for Macquarie.
Yeah, and I think that given some time, they should be able to lock in, get some more scrims in there, you know, practice, and try and really fine-tune things, like you said, Tony. So definitely eager to see how they progress throughout the season, because this is only week 1, you know, and I think by the end of the season, we're going to see some very different teams presented towards us, towards the finals, and let alone the grand finals. So definitely keen to see what all these teams are capable of, Tony, and eager to see exactly what's on the horizon. You know, it's been a fantastic first week of Marvel Rivals on the uni side of things. It's very different to what we've seen from our high school leagues, Tony, and almost a breath of fresh air. It's great to see some fresh new talent.
Yeah, good to see some fresh faces and see some different highlight plays. Of course, you know, as you mentioned, you know, scrims going into these next few weeks probably very important for a few of these teams that didn't quite get to show up as dominant as they probably would have liked to today.
That's right, but their time will come, their opportunity will come. But speaking of opportunities, we have a great opportunity right now to speak to one of our winners. It's Muffin.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, welcome. And I got to say, I was really impressed with how you guys played into that one. And I guess coming into it, what was some of the psyche that you guys had coming into that series? Like, were you worried at all?
I would say not really. I mean, I'm pretty confident in my team. Up to that point, we've done a lot of scrims, done a lot of practice, done a lot of research into other teams as well, you know, looking for target bans. So I think going into the match, we were pretty confident that we would win.
Yeah, definitely got to see those scrims on display. Of course, we got to speak to UTS, and you know, maybe it's a bit of a rivalry building up there because I heard you guys went 3-3 there. So, are you guys looking forward to facing UTS going into the future weeks?
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I think them and Monash are definitely, some of the top teams in Elite Series. So pretty excited to play against them.
Absolutely. I think that that's going to be some fun rivalries to be built up across the season, and very eager to see, I suppose, what all of you will end up becoming. And yeah, I guess diving a bit deeper into that, do you think you'd be pretty confident to like take all of them down, or do you think one might be a bit more challenging than the other?
I think I know Monash are pretty stacked. I know Lick has, I think he helped select the team or something, so he does know a bit about the team. Yeah, definitely Monash would be a big challenge, but fingers crossed that we can overcome that, I guess.
And I want to pick your brain a little bit, Muffin. Of course, we've seen a lot of 2-2-2 today. You guys brought out the 3 strategists. What was the call there to kind of bring out the triple heal and see how that went?
I think it was more just kind of playing into our strengths in terms of kind of our hero pool, as well as just kind of like looking into their comp as well. And also, I think the Adam and the Mantis team up, sort of having that res ability was pretty massive. You can stall out team fights quite a lot, and the rest just kind of playing into our strengths. I can play quite a lot of Strange. Frost is good at DPS, and kind of just went in from there.
No, great to see that adaptability, and keen to see more of that heading into the future. And I guess I got to say congratulations on your first win of the season, and I'm sure that there may be more to come into the future weeks. So big shout out to you guys for giving it your all, and thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No worries. And that's going to be that, Tony. Great to have Muffin come through there, give us a little bit of insight into what they were thinking out of that series, and keen to hear more from the players and their stories starting to build all throughout the season.
Yeah, eyes on Monash, it would seem. I gassed up 6. Everybody else is gassing up 6. This guy's got a ton of experience, right? So it's kind of well deserved for Monash. You bring 6 into the roster. Everybody's got their targets on the MRI. Of course, 4th place, I believe that he placed with his team. So didn't quite show out in terms of the victory, but eyes on 6, eyes on Monash, and yeah, some great interviews this evening. A lot of the teams kind of sticking to what they know, sticking to what kind of suits their style. It's a lot of this 2-2-2. As you heard Muffin though as well, a lot of them can kind of flex those roles there. We saw Frost from the Vanguard over towards the DPS in that second one. And it shows a team with flexibility really, really performs well in these games.
Absolutely. They're just able to do great work, and I think that that's going to be really important heading forward into the future of the season as well. But speaking of the future of the season, let's check out our results from this evening and see how it all played out. It's just all looking 2s, Tony. 2s for TwoTapTony.
Yeah, 2s and 0s. We almost had it all on the left-hand side, man, if QUT were able to our UTS. But, of course, some dominant games from all of these teams this evening in terms of how we're expected. A little bit closer in that last one as well. RMIT definitely had their, I guess, humbling a little bit there from Swinburne. But UTS, Monash, very dominant games out of them in terms of the top of the evening. And yeah, Matt, that is Monash, UTS, RMIT, and UNSW up 1-0. Unfortunate for the other side of things, that's QUT, MQU, that's Macquarie, Swinburne, and UOM down at that 0-1 mark. So, well, a 4-way tie for second, for 5th, and a 4-way tie for first. Interesting to see, of course, none of these go to 3 maps either, so we don't get to see a little bit of a differential in terms of some of the scorelines here.
Yeah, it is interesting how it all played out pretty much the exact same way, isn't it, Tony? And keen to see, I suppose, how it's all going to play out in future weeks. Because, just because we had 2-0s in week 1 doesn't mean it's going to be the same heading into week 2 and there beyond. I think that we're going to see some very different games, especially when we have some of those more, let's say, high-power rosters that we've seen tonight face off against one another. I think that they are going to be some seriously competitive games, and I'm very excited to see who will come out on top in the Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, eyes on UTS, eyes on Monash. as some of the favorites, it would seem, from talking to the players. And of course, from what we saw tonight. So it's going to be as well a lot of getting the scrims in, as we heard from a few of the players. A lot of these teams have been screaming very heavily. So get the prac in and reset mentally for next week, because it is going to be a ton of action to come.
That's it. There's going to be a ton of action to come. Speaking of what's to come, though, it's time to say a big thank you to our sponsors. So, first and foremost, want to say a big shout out to AGON by AOC, the #1 gaming monitor brand in the world. And AGON by AOC provide best-in-class monitor solutions for gaming and all other needs. Next up, it's Indomie, the noodle partner. Made with high-quality flour and selected ingredients and spices, a plate of Indomie mee goreng will certainly brighten up your day. Try any one of the flavors available today from your local grocer or at indomie.com.au. So big shout out to both of our wonderful sponsors there. Definitely appreciate the support. And they are just great. Going to get into some Indomie straight after this broadcast. But no, make sure you check us out as well. AEL, AU Esports League on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. Make sure you check it out, and make sure you check out Wednesday, the Rocket League going on, as well as Thursday with some Counter-Strike 2. 7 o'clock will be the time to be there on both nights in the same time, same place. So definitely get keen to check some of that out. But Tony, you got any final words?
I'm keen for the weeks to come, Matt. A lot of competition and scrim.
That's it. Scrims get the wins, and keen to see how those all play out heading into the resulting weeks. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you same time, same place next week.